You two are on the same lineup, yeah.
We really are. All right, what are we gonna get out of this one? You see what were the picks from before? Let's see if we get any changes here.
See, I would expect maybe Festival exactly going on the chamber, something that I really like. So then it comes to the question of what Suzu is going to be doing. Actually, they're gonna be with a double controller. Okay, Viper and Omen. I do not think that we see any changes on Team Liquid's composition. So Peeta, you're looking at me. I see you very excited. What is it?
I don't know why, but I knew there was gonna be some sort of meta shift. I felt it from Fennel. Now I'm really excited to watch it
out if they kept the raised chamber. Suzu came in,
Yeah. No, I think this double controller comp is super flexible. I think you can send Omen or Viper as a lurker. You can fake so many sides. You can take control of so much map control without any of too much utility, and that's just kind of the magic of a double controller. But I definitely am so excited to see how Fennel plays this, because it's kind of like nitpicky. It's kind of like, Omen has a smoke, so he uses both of them. You're kind of screwed for a little bit. But Viper definitely, the wall, everything, the fakes. I'm so excited to see this.
All right, well, you heard it from our analysts. Let's now send it over to Vansili and Hypoc. And Hypoc, by the way, no tech pauses. Maybe Lauren's the curse. Oh. What do you have to say about that, Hypoc?
I have nothing to say because I don't want to curse it. Absolutely nothing to say.
We didn't want to have a 9-3 curse. I don't want this curse. Let's just continue as is. But this is going to be very interesting as well. Double controller on this map where Fennel's like, hey, let's just play on Team Liquid's playground and try to win it with this double controller.
I'm going to counter the desk here. I'll be the grumpy British guy. This for me leans towards Fennel wanting to slow things down. And maybe, try and fake a little bit, but with how that first map went, I don't think Liquid are going to respect it at all. I don't think Fennel are going to be able to achieve what they want to with pulling out this composition here. I'm happy to be proven wrong, always for an underdog story, but just in terms of the pacing here, I don't think slowing things down is going to work for Fennel. I would have rather see a composition built around Festival to really set her up for more success that we did see on Ascent. That was one of the few positives we did see.
Yeah, and hopefully that's going to be her on this chamber, but we start things off. Okay, a little bit of a shredded step on top of Tube, and a second one there on Nachi.
Maybe she heard me. She heard me. Great start here to the pistol round, and actually Suzu looking to go even more. But Daiki finds two. The Collat headshot.
Have the last three players of Fennel that were so ready for this split. I have to cut noise for now.
It's already DRN making moves back towards A, anticipating this rotation coming through for Fennel. A relatively safe position that doesn't want to commit to a peek ahead of this plant coming through or any confirmation of presence. Meanwhile, actually Daiki and Naxi still positioned over towards B, but finally that rotation comes through. The second player now over towards A.
As we're working slowly towards this A site for Fennel, we're hoping for this haunt to get ready. And there you go, it's propped up. It's probably going to be for them to get ready for a fast hit. And this might be a perfect timing as soon as this wall comes down.
Could be. The toxin cooldown at the perfect time. The green light left here for Fennel. And you hear that, 30 seconds left. Not much time to work with. Actually, no sound cue given away just yet, but DRN does. Try to slow orb onto default. Plant will come through uncontested though.
Couple of chip shot being taken here from the back of Heaven. Shots being missed by Festival is forced to TP back, and that leaves Kurumi by herself into sight. Festival trying to bait it out. She's still holding by the default.
Kurumi's tucked in here to the poison orb.
Close by. You do have Naxi, that's good. No! Didn't check down towards the corner. Kurumi gets the kill, and that's going to be Fennel. That's the confidence that he needed.
Actually, hats off to Festival as well, even after burning up that last Headhunter shot. Makes the classic work from range to find the headshot. Fennel actually doubling down on that early aggression. Like I said, Suzu straight up tube. On top of, with the TP actually here, finds the first onto the top of Boiler. Actually drops down, finds the second as well. Daiki, like I said here, total accident on the second, but finds the freebie here with the headshot. Fennel able to close things out though. So on the board here for round one on Icebox. See what the response, if any, from Team Liquid. Just one Sheriff in the hands of Daiki. Over towards A now. Actually 3 members over towards A here. Actually a tempered purchase here.
Yeah. And I'm liking this. In the mix. I'm liking this from Suzu too. The way that she's throwing her smoke towards mid. This is conditioning every single time because she did that to get on top of 2 before.
which is one of the benefits with having this double controller. You can, like before, this is what Athena was leaning towards with this composition. Have to see when actually the adaptation comes from Liquid.
Did not expect a pistol to win here against a rifle, and it's a 4 versus 4 with Suzu and the rest here of Fennel looking to rotate back towards mid. Unfortunately, the flash doesn't work to get the blindness, so that's Suzu with 4 kills into the round.
Lining them up after that pop flash. Ahead of it, still finds it. The ace will come through for Suzu, making this Omen work in the first couple of rounds here on Icebox.
The first ace of the tournament, and that's going to be Suzu on an agent pick that we don't expect usually on a map like Icebox, but not only slowing down the pace here for Fennel, it allows him to do quick executions too.
The total opposite of that actually in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah,
Suzu's TPing up onto the top of Tube,
That's true.
aggressively taking these angles, and even there, like you said, on the back of that smoke that's going to be employed very early on to condition Liquid that there's going to be pressure towards mid. Like I said, usually the big indicator, right? Playing Viper on Icebox, wait for that Viper util to come through. That's a massive indicator towards where the site or where the pressure's going to come in the early round.
Next big thing that we could talk about, by continuously doing these smokes on mid, this allows later on to use the poison orb for pulse plants or whatnot, but this round at least it's going to be the Viper Len putting that poison orb on mid instead. So we're saving at least one of our smokes from Suzu for something else.
I actually think, DRN are close enough to hear that sound cue from the TP being placed. But with where it's placed, it's almost as if actually it's going to be a late mid lurk. Be careful here, the flash not going to come through, but no kill just yet.
Just getting pinged non-stop, and we know the pressure that Colorado is getting, so it's calling for our team to rotate.
Actually trying to find some pressure to backfill Liquid setup, but actually the push has come through Kitchen.
Exactly, and that's a nice trade coming out. Unfortunately there, it doesn't work out for Kahado, 1 versus 1 against Nachi. But we're flooding slowly this site towards B, where Daiki's now leading under Tube. Kurumi on the top of her opponents, trying to take him down, but it's not going to work out. Suzu, unfortunately, the one that aced before, is going to have to go on a 3 versus 1. Spike down towards the back of the site, not going to do more than a smoke, and that's Team Liquid to answer back really quickly.
Well, this being a round actually with previously 2 rifles coming into this won't really affect the purchase for Fennel. Maybe just a light shield to round things out, actually. A struggle to get the 5th rifle on board, I think with all utility maybe. A couple of gaps here, the Headhunter being the main one. Fennel wasting no time when that pressure comes through on A. They know they have to just kind of give up their teammate, leave them to kind of stall time, but push through Kitchen, not fully successful. And Daiki actually with a great backstab in mid on the Tube.
Yeah. Kitchen battle seems to ensue a lot here for Fennel, at least mid control, or early in this round, mid rounds, but not really able to process it too cleanly through all these attempts. That said, Nachi, already some heavy damage forced to fall back and to get the heal off DRN.
Him being so low though, it doesn't really make it as if Nachi can re-peak here, 66
Correct.
HP. A big tag coming through. Fennel once again drift back towards mid. You can see here almost the paranoia from that early conditioning, right? There's one player towards Kitchen, one towards Boiler still, just to prevent Fennel from achieving this.
It's a double smoke to run through and take control of Boiler. A split from the toxic screen.
Oh, no.
And Daki was just waiting for that TP to come up towards that Boiler. DRN holding towards screens. Nice crossfire set up, and that just foils the plans of Fennel to try to get it towards mid. Only 1 more to go, and that's going to be Festival, who her role was trying to go for the lurk. He's going to have to try to go for an ace clutch. Good for 2 at least for now, but getting pinged so much, it's right down to 11. But just smiling along her way. Looking to get this clutch. Looking to make it expensive, but it is going to be expensive for Fennel as well, should they lose this Phantom. Underhand flash and that swing. Very nicely done by Team Liquid to tie up the game.
I think Festival will get the tour de force based on that, so something to bring into the next regardless, whether or not they can build around that.
Good call.
Suzu with the ultimate early on, yes, but it's pretty much going to be the tour de force coming to this round again.
Surprise!
Just looking to remain unpredictable, right? Just almost doing the unthinkable in some of these executes, but Liquid able to withstand the chaos and recover very well. Actually, a great audible here with DRN to just throw that wall up, slow things down, allow a couple of crossfires to be set up in different angles. Well handled here. Liquid keeping it in check very early on.
I agree with you. The heads-up play to be able to put that wall towards screens. It's unorthodox to do, and quick for her to think on her feet for DRN to get that wall up. And with this 2-2, Fennel is trying to move forward on this half by Stinger. Couple of frenzies. It's looking to be a quick push.
Big reveal here. Nike and Naxi, they're just going to find kills even ahead of this Spike making his way all the way onto site. So Fennel achieving nothing here.
Exactly.
Able to withstand it. It might even be flawless. No, Len will find a consolation.
Just seems very difficult, Mike, to try to push in right now when you have the wall up on the defenders.
Like I said here, the Tour de Force, there's not much actually Festival can do. Liquid not really giving away any open peaks early on, even with DRN standing to face noted on the back of the knife coming through. No real success to be found. I mean, what I want to see is Fennel actually lean back towards a heavier site execute here with the double control. Also, with so many more smokes than the traditional just Viper here on Icebox, you really can smother a site, cover a few extra angles that make it harder. Sometimes people can peek over from the top of B site, for example, over that wall. It might actually just be that. Suzu, a couple of different smokes we've seen now in terms of this B main presence, but actually this one sets Nachi up to find Festival.
Nice little move there, forcing Nachi to hold her ground or try to hold her ground towards yellow. A little bit of a combination from a 0 point to a one-way smoke, but it still makes it a 4 versus 4 situation with both of the chambers down on either team.
I actually preferred the previous one that's actually on that box over the orb that allows safe passage past that corner and outside of garage as well. But it's a 1-for-1, so I'd argue it could favor Fennel early on in the round.
Poison orb with a smoke, a little bit of miscommunication there from trying to cross over on mid.
This is the sort of thing now, you're going to see Liquid start getting inside these smokes, just anticipating this. But Len, the contingency, the diligence,
And that
hold that
forces
angle as well, yeah.
the Hunter's Fury. They thought that the hit was going to go towards Kitchen, so that Hunter's Fury is now wasted, and that's going to be a little bit less towards the A side on defense. The wall is about to crumble now onto the mid orbit, and indeed it does on the defense to allow now Fennel to move through.
Like he did get marked there. Still going to try and stand their ground, but Suzu, the swing will find the wallbang.
Okay, we're committing to this. Rez to come up. All three players from Team Liquid are now looking to retake the A side, all from screens. Lots of utility though for Bastardo to try to retake the site. Sorry.
Well, actually, Fennel still have both Snake Bites and the Fragment as well, so good post-plant sets up here for Fennel.
And we're pushing aggressively. Team Liquid looking for these swings, but the positioning is still too good here for Fennel. With the utility on top of that, it's not even needed. Two players to stay alive as Fennel are able to tie up the game once again. It's 3-3.
Yeah, they dig their heels in, forcing Liquid to explore even deeper towards Belt here. So that's great timing on the trade here. I said Len actually set up, almost reading this, baiting Liquid into these sort of pushes. And like I said, expect Liquid now to start walking through some of these smokes and really figure out what's going on behind it, because like I said, they're looking to remain slippery, right? They're looking to kind of just catch Liquid off guard in some of these engagements.
And keeping that Omen alive is actually quite important for Fennel. You can see on these pulse plants, we have this one-ways on the right side of A tower too, to not allow Team Liquid to get too much vision when they're going for these diffuses. I like it.
Suzu finds another opener.
That was a close call.
Yeah, ahead of it. Sees the shoulder poke, and actually Festival posts back up on the angle. Gonna be punished for that.
Didn't expect that Nachi was gonna push down a little bit further to get a little bit of a more aggressive angle, and punishes it. Especially when Suzu got the early kill to make it an early 4v4 right after. That's a slight mistake coming out here from Fennel.
There's never really a tangible advantage on the back of these first fights for either team, to be honest.
Yeah.
Both able to negate them very quickly. Actually, Paranoia being posted just to get early progress towards Tube. Actually in anticipation of finding Nachi somewhere with that operator. Another little pump towards mid and B early on, and Fennel will drift back towards A, but that Viper's pit set up.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult to crack through.
Especially we don't have a Prowler to work with, so there you go. We're trying to double back.
Thinking better of it now. Maybe on the back of Suzu getting a little bit of progress towards B.
Important battle coming up.
Gonna hear this TP though. Suzu's gonna have...
Still commits to the forces the TP back at least. Suzu stays alive. And we talk about the Viper's pit, but we have it on the attack as well. Suzu then punishes Nachi as she tries to swing back out towards the back of B. But Bastardo's already there towards the back of the side. Null command coming up. 3 kills! Somehow coming in! And that's Koharu gonna have to go for a clutch. And we're still pushing forward with confidence. And Daiki cleans it up, but man, what a hold there for Bastarda.
Bastarda, and again, this is with Fennel actually flooding the site, sending everybody forward to try and find an extra kill here to make sure that plant comes through safely. Bastarda closing the door. And it actually comes down to just the planter being left, and it's so awkward to get out. When you go for that deep plant, you can't retreat back towards B main. Credit once again to Suzu, though.
Yeah.
Creating a little bit of... This TP was...
Insane. That's two of them right now here, Mike. The first one that went on the top of Boiler that, yes, Suzu did get punished for, but yeah, those were some clean shots.
Crispy.
I love this. At least from Team Liquid, what I like now is pretty much how they usually play, except for this one, actually. A wall to push very aggressively on the top of Belt, a knife to find some info, and that's Bastarda just running it down. I mean, there's not much utility to work with, not many good guns right now for Fennel, but you can definitely see it's time for our Team Liquid to just play aggressively again.
Talking about lack of respect, this is off one of the eco rounds for Fennel. Again, Liquid just no nonsense. Nachi even closing it with a bit of flair for the Prime Gaming Flawless. Fantastic stuff. Liquid almost look fed up now. They don't want to allow Fennel any space to set up these fakes, any of this kind of lurking pressure behind this double controller composition. Taking the fight to them.
I mean, look at it. Even the 0 point spotted too. They pitched it up on the Belt as well. All these fights, all these duels coming into their favor and just running it down and really not giving a chance for Fennel to actually have a conversation where usually on these egos, like, okay, we could slow it down, we could talk a bit, and then boom, you don't have time. You only have the timeout now.
Because I guess a lot of this early rounding is kind of we'll throw a smoke down, see if we can find a peak. And like that's why we saw Len kind of greeting somebody. I think it was Bastarda actually walking through the smoke initially on mid now. It's almost like Liquid are kind of onto, they're trying to just bait out these pushes, right? Almost playing into the fact that they're anticipating this lack of respect from Liquid.
Playing a little bit slower, and you see this timeout, but just before, we did see it on the UI, this ultimate from Suzu, from the shadows that we have from this ultimate.
Yeah.
Intrigued to see how she can use this.
It's not been employed just yet, so I don't think it's going to be the cornerstone of any executes, whether or not this is something that is well rehearsed or something. It's kind of just a curveball they want to throw towards Liquid. Like I said, with a lack of tape and this being a composition change, how much they can build around Suzu really creating some chaos with that TP.
Yeah. So far, it's just her own body with these peaks coming at least from
Our other TP's working way better.
Exactly.
Stick to that.
Except for the first attempt on Boiler. But at least we also have other ultimates to work with for Fennel. A Viper's Pit that has yet to be used for a bit, and also a Null Command. So off this timeout, maybe we could expect something very quick.
I think once we see kind of a comfortable post-bar, we might see that, but against Suzu, just so eager to take this opening fight on B main. Try and catch off somebody posted up, and we even noted actually in the previous, talking about Nachi being on KO. Usually, Liquid like to post up Nachi in these very aggressive spots.
Yeah.
Kind of heavy anchoring one site.
Exactly, on that chamber. And the good thing about that, too, is that when she's going to be very aggressive and actually gets picked off, or does get picked off, you have great players as Bastarda and Daiki that can get a 2-3K into the round and just turn it back into favor Team Liquid. So again, this is their playground, but I do love that Fennel are putting up a fight.
I think Festival might have noticed, just pulls out the TP at the wrong time. Daiki, unlucky not to find that angle, but again, Fennel. It's an early pump towards B. They try and then pressure towards mid. It hasn't really drawn too much of a rotation other than Naxi headed towards yellow here.
Fortunately there. Caught off guard is trying to rotate back, and Festival, nice little combination from Team Liquid to not allow Festival to actually party up here inside this B site.
30 seconds left.
Naxi in the back of yellow, looking to get pushed forward. Len and Koharu just going to work on different areas of the map. Viper's Pit finally out for Fennel. Looking at this plant for Kurumi.
Actually, Fragment and Shock are way too deep, so it doesn't even do an awful lot of chip damage. The second actually might do. Looks as if Fennel going to be able to close this one out, though. Aside any more Bastarda antics.
We do have a knife, and we also have the recon that just went in.
So close to that spray.
Flash on the first, still gets it though, and that's going to be the fade down of Kurumi. Viper's Pit though still up as a nice spot. Land back towards yellow. Beautiful flash. The pit will go down.
Oh
and
my
Bastarda
God.
pushes forward. That's what we call Hypok Cast a Curse.
Oh my God. I said aside any Bastarda antics, and just like that, I mean, it's such painful timing for Karumi as well. This flash comes in, but Bastardo actually delays the peek inside, maybe anticipating somebody swinging out of the Viper's pit. To almost play anti-flash there, but doesn't even matter. Systematical clearance. Back onto B site. Removes the Viper's pit. This, you look back at the minimap and you think, yeah, borderline unlosable, right?
Yeah. And great positionings they were. Great positions they were, rather, for Fennel. And Bastardo, man, she's feeling confident in this one. Nachi popping off on the first map of Ascent, this time for Bastardo. A 3-round lead. 14 Liquid. As we hear this duel de force coming out now for Nachi. Setting up on the top of yellow to look towards Garage. Meanwhile, though, for Fennel, you see from this radar, they're looking for this mid-control. A Haunt, a Prowler. Very, very fast once again. We're going to attempt for this hit on Boiler one more time, but it's a lower weaponry. At least Festival does get the first headshot with the Headhunter. As Daiki is forced out of her position. Trying to react back. DRN trying to slow it down, but still, with this ruckus of a buy that we have for Fennel, we've opened up the A site.
Looking to overwhelm the Team Liquid players here. And it pays off. A deep TP, a very safe TP back towards mid here for Festival as well. So can't commit to this. Flash gonna come through. Actually punished ahead of the TP.
Oh, no.
2 kills here for Liquid.
This is gonna happen again. Nachi, though, has yet to pick up a weapon. Len with this lurk. Beautiful kill, leaving Bastardo stuck inside the site. She hears a rotation on the back of Heaven, so at least we'll try to isolate that for a bit. Both snake bites already on the ground. It's time to try to go for a save, and that is a shot and a half from Len. 4 rounds now for Fennel.
And still a very close scoreline here. Fennel almost leaning heavily on that early conditioning of, you know, pumping towards both sides, creating a little bit of pressure with these smokes towards mid. And actually on this round in particular, they just look to overwhelm whoever's playing Boiler and back screens.
Yeah.
And it pays off for them. Suzu with 2 massive kills. Absolutely no right to find the second there onto DRN with the Spectre. And the spirit's still high.
And this is one of those plays, usually high puck, where when you're trying to go for these boiler splits into the A site, you usually have a Sage that's going to wall off the cross. And that's the reason why we see this Viper, the wall coming up and even the Omen smoke. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. We got action already into this round as Festival gets the headshot onto Bastardo to get an early 5 versus 4.
Look how deep this first blood has occurred in the first 15 seconds of the round.
Yeah.
It's right in front of Boiler. And Fennel able to drift away from it. Causing Liquid to spread very thin, but actually 3 players anticipate this, and they're already over towards B side.
We have a nice little lurk going out, though, from Suzu out towards Kitchen, and Naxi is going to get dropped. I've also spotting Nachi somewhere around the site, waiting for this wall to come down. Head-to-head, it's going to be Festival. That marks the target, but it's answered back by DRN. A 4 versus 2, and it doesn't really look at this point. We might want to try to go for it for Team Liquid. They're low on money. They're low on economy. And especially after this fight, DRN's out on low on HP, now finally at 0. It's going to make things a lot more difficult for Daiki. I think this might seal the deal for her to try to go for these exits and save.
I'm not even going to find any here, because there's 3 players for Fennel tucked towards B main. Don't expect any over peeking, other than that one. It's unpunished. That should be 4 to survive here. Suzu actually wants to punish the economy even further. Will come through and find the headshot. Daiki will fall. Brings it within 1 round here. On Icebox. Actually, Naxi down to 600 credits coming into this one. A couple of other concerns here. Whether or not actually Naxi, yeah, got the trap. Got the full shield as well, so we'll be able to share the wealth just a little bit. Again, Fennel, in some of these rounds, just looks so good in terms of really switching up the pace. Like I said, pushing so deep for that first blood, and then a full retreat for a 4-man push down B main. I said it's so difficult for Liquid to really grasp where the hit's going to come.
Yeah. Just a great job there for Fennel to use that utility to push those defenders back towards Boiler, if not pick them off, to then be able to take the control of the top of Tube.
Daiki nearly finding that headshot angle. The Festival escapes with a life. Heavy emphasis towards A here for Liquid on this defense as well. Tour de force in the hands of Festival. Rest of Fennel still probing.
Oh, a change here, as you can see from this mini-map. Tired of getting control of Tube, they decide to wall that early.
Almost trying to use some util to once again create a bit of pressure. Festival, though, will get away unscathed. Another first blood. And again, the hit's going to come through onto B, so Naxi going to be tested here.
You tried to stack the numbers towards the A side, but unfortunately you don't have enough. Oh, with this TP now inside the site, down to 27 HP. Waiting for the wall to come up, and there you go. Suzu stays alive, at least for the time being. Spike about to go down. A TP from Suzu towards spawn. That's gonna stop. It's gonna spot Bastarda.
No way. Suzu actually gets away with it and gets a kill. DRN desperate to try and come out and find this kill, and will do. Very early on as well, but Festival posted up with a tour de force, just gives up the angle. The DRN slipped across.
But this still allows her to get a good timing.
You see the pings coming through, actually the information's been relayed. DRN's been heard.
And it's ticking. They gotta act quickly here for Team Liquid. There's that tap. There's that easy kill. A second one as the slow field goes down. Only one more to go for Naxi. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And Fennel are able to fight back and tie up the first half 6-6.
Beautiful half from Fennel as well. Even actually with Liquid, like I said, constantly. Almost feels like playing catch-up, right? We're talking about how good they were at playing reactionary on the first map. This is just ridiculous from Suzu. We're talking about what she was going to be able to achieve with that TP. Again, pays off massively here. And even in terms of, yeah, DRN deals with it so quickly, but like we were talking about, actually, the spike was ticking away that entire time.
Yeah.
DRN's, like I said, it's based on all this paranoia built early on in the round that Liquid have to double and triple check some of these angles.
Well, Elise, let's TP to GB in the desk and see what they think about Suzu on this Omen.
Tell you what, probably would be the most clunky teleport of all time. And it'd be like, and then I'll just fall off a cliff. In any case, though, hey, look at us.
Yeah?
Look at us.
Who would have thought?
Well, who would have thought? We got ourselves a series, and I'm so happy because, you know, Kakuga, it's like we knew that Fennel could do this. We knew the capability of these players. They're so talented. We're starting to see those guns come online. That's what we needed.
I love what I'm seeing here in Icebox, and I wanted to show it just by one round because Liquid, what they tried to do is go back to what they were doing on Ascent. Let's go extra aggressive. Let's just start every single round with a very aggressive push. And for the majority of the times, especially at the beginning, it worked for them because they just managed to create, literally, to have all the space. Just look at where the Fennel players are at the moment. There's literally no space for them. Natty even goes for almost a no-scope here. And the good thing is that Fennel started reading into this. So what the response from them was literally, oh, you want to be aggressive? Let's be aggressive. Let's actually be aggressive because I can TP, I can do exotic things, let's call it like that. And every single time that Liquid was going on the aggression, Fennel would be aggressive on another part of the map. And that's how the score started evening out.
But you know, though, as we look forward, there's a glaring issue here with the composition of this Fennel lineup, and you're gonna have all these controllers in play, and even though Suzu's playing really well, that could maybe be a problem, Athena.
Yeah, I mean, Suzu's going off. She kind of made plays with her janky teleports, her crazy wild
That
Omen
TP
ult.
at the end was
Yeah,
good.
it was nuts. Like, those kind of plays are what kind of turned the tides, I feel like, and actually helped her pop off with her Omen mechanics. But coming into this defense side, you know, kind of seeing Omen and Viper, it'll be a little harder. I mean, you don't have as much delay utility as a Sage, for example. But at the same time, you know, if Festival's kind of going crazy, if you can set her up on one side with an off, and you have the Viper on the other side holding it down, then the double controller doesn't look that bad anymore. So I think going forward, like, they can definitely do it.
It works so well with all the double heights that we have on both sides. We also have the paranoia that adds on to your KO. So I think that there is a lot of versatility into this composition. Definitely one to look out for. And now jumping onto the defense, we need to keep seeing the Suzu that we're seeing so far.
Yeah, you know, hey, anything is possible here as we have learned throughout all of Game Changers. Let's send it back over to our casters as we get ready for the action.
I think they bring up a great point to the desk. What's going to happen now for Suzu on defense? I mean, they did a great job with her with these teleports playing aggressively, but I don't think you could do that on defense.
It's going to be harder to achieve. I think anything can work if you're putting up the performance Suzu did in that first half. That is a terrifying stat, though. But I'm having an 80% defensive round win rate. Again, this is a composition change we see here. Yes, but again, if you're just going to rely on kind of brute force aggression like we did see in that first half, you can make it work. There's a couple of nice little setups for the paranoia on these close contact angles. Whether or not we see them lean heavily on that, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, here it goes. They don't care. We're pushing forward. It's not with an Omen. It's 3 players from Fennel getting the first blood.
Question being, can Liquid do what Fennel did in the first half better than them? Because again, we talked about potentially getting aggressive in the early round. And actually, Suzu hasn't phased whatsoever. I'm not sure if there's a sound cue or anything, but happy to greet this.
Okay.
Okay, the swap out to the shorty's dirty.
So Len will be first contact to see if we can do some damage right after that, and everybody's converging from Team Liquid towards this green hallway to try to get back into the A site. The wall comes up, trying to get the angle aggressively for Len. A knife too, a dink as well. So that's DRN forced to fall back, forced to even get a heal onto herself.
Paranoia used as well, and actually no confirmation on the other side of it, and the shorty actually letting Suzu down. Daiku will find one.
But she's also at 6 HP.
Yeah.
So did enough damage at least for herself, and also has delayed another push coming out from Team Liquid, another attempt to try to move into this B site. But Naxi's still alive, they still have this wall.
Again, have to wait for that poison cooldown here, but Bastarda actually going to force through. Daiku going to find another one. How have they recovered this? It's a 2v1.
Well, Festival, you're going to have to come big, and she does so with the headshot to the Bastarda. Now here's the plant. Norritz that spots Naxi on top of that. She's winning on health as well. Not after running through the toxic screen. Nice headshot. Comes in for the defuse, and she will get the clutch in the pistol for Fennel.
Festival opens it up over on A side and closes it out on B. Beautiful stuff there, as Liquid almost flipped that back in their favor somehow. Again, you look at the HP bars. Again, that pause, for the toxic cooldown. Almost forcing a couple of players out of position here.
Yeah.
Festival's paying no respect to the suppress coming through from that knife, and Len actually finding a freebie. See, Len previously actually positioned ahead of that wall, but I think there's a little bit of fear once Suzu feels as if she's going to be overwhelmed on yellow. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was Fennel to find the pistol in round 2 in the first half, right?
Yeah. I actually want to know what the move is every time they win rounds. I want to learn that. Let's start doing that after our cast.
I was gonna say, you can bust it out afterwards. A Fennel win here, you bust out the dance?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Well, are they gonna dance this time? It's gonna be Suzu on top of Pipes. 2 kills as they have the round going in on the anti-eco, but it's a force buy still for Team Liquid. Only 2 left alive. Stinger and a Spectre. Make that only the Spectre of DRN, who's now spotted and stuck at Generator. We're flooding in for Fennel. And that's a bite that's gonna hurt.
They said actually gonna throw Liquid another round behind here, especially with the purchase taken into account. I mean, actually gonna have an opportunity to maybe put a hero rifle in the mix here. I was gonna say maybe some headhunter bullets to work with and try and find a pick, but actually, yeah, gonna see a toy with the idea. It looks like it might just be a light shield and potentially a Spectre, but wait to see how the purchase sits here. Like I said, Fennel actually getting themselves an extra round ahead here, shutting down that forced purchase, being able to carry across a lot of this equipment. Actually, yeah, it will be the hero rifle here for Nachi to try and make something work. Early on towards A site. Fennel not going to give away a peek, though.
Here.
Trying to find information, too, by prowling towards mid. And this is going to be the hero rifle from Nachi. Trying to get a pick towards this A site seems to be a lot easier to do on a map like Icebox. Meanwhile, they're still creating a ruckus, still breaking, trying to break utility towards this B site, trying to waste utility as well from Fennel. But this focus, it's just going to be a default. We're trying to force rotates here from Fennel, as Team Liquid are still looking, waiting for the smoke to dissipate on the top of Pipes.
A little off kilter in terms of when that one way goes up. Actually, the wall's going up at the same time, so potential here to maybe be caught off guard with that utility cooldown. Not necessarily on this round with, well, I guess what Fennel will assume is a lesser purchase, but a Festival with 2 quick kills with the Bulldog, and actually the spike noted.
30 seconds left.
The issue that they had there, trying to force rotates on either positions, but nobody's playing towards mid, so you get punished on that.
Actually just desperate to try and get something done with that rifle after the spike is noted. Maybe trying to catch the backside of that rotation, but it's a prime gaming flawless for Fennel here. 9-6 the scoreline. We're going to come back in on the purchase. No ultimates online just yet, though.
Yeah.
Bastarda and Daiki the closest 2 away. Festival lining 2 up there on that double swing.
Nothing they can really do there for Team Liquid when you have the weaker weapons. And into this round where they have weapons to work with, you're looking at Fennel. Do they want to go for some sort of a bonus? And it seems as though they're opting to literally opt.
Yeah, actually, putting the operator in here, I mean, even a kill and the death will get the tour de force back, so it's almost cancelling out that punch. Suzu, so aggressive with that TP.
Unfortunately gets punished for that one, but it almost caught one off guard. Bastardo gets the kill, and that forces a rotate from Fennel out towards the A site. Knife from a 0 point from Bastardo just to clear out to see if anybody's pushing forward towards Maze. But that's going to be a passive setup now, a passive hold for Fennel inside this A site.
With this operator tucked so deep on B, actually they can prioritize. Hoping actually that this Owl Drone does get employed to clear out these close angles, and I don't want to see them push any deeper to use it.
Oh no.
Lack of diligence shown here on the way through from Liquid. Daiki will fall, and actually does remove any of that utility for the push onto site as well. Festival might be caught with this suppress though.
Thankfully from the null command, so you got to do whatever you can. You
Beautiful
wasted out the
flash.
time. Yes, that allows DRN to run out. Naxi also cap it on to land inside this B site, and unfortunately off that null command, off that combination, everything falls until now. Until now as Haru is on a 2 versus 1. The wall up towards spawn, but she's already been spotted towards the kitchen window. She's eyeing in. Nice headshot there onto DRN. Will it happen? We're trying to jiggle peek across. 1 second onto the knife, pushing forward, and that's good. It doesn't. Oh no, it doesn't. I thought she had the play, the call from that knife.
When that knife comes through, it doesn't confirm any presence
Exactly.
behind. I thought maybe you're going to swing back towards Snowman, but what a clearance from Liquid to counter this op setup. Actually, soon as Festival tries to fall back, what is that from Bastardo to even find that kill? But here, the lineup with the fragment to force them back behind that double box, and then the flash onto back yellow. Fantastic stuff. I even noted actually a lack of diligence on the way through
Yeah.
with the Owl Drone usage, but great counter to the op setup on B.
Oh yeah, and there you go. You see that pressure as well in that 1 versus 1. That could have been won there by Koharu. But just playing on LAN here, it's a big stage.
Like I said though, with the operator investment in the now you see the Owl Drone come out. Yes, that 1 kill and the death puts the tour de force on the table here in round 17, and noted very early on. So Liquid are going to drift immediately towards the A site.
Yeah, so you learn from your mistakes. We also spotted 2 from the 0 point on the attack, so that rotates everybody out towards the A site. Or
Suzu, man,
she's ruthless right now on these kills.
Suzu's playing a different game, honestly. And actually continuing that success that we saw in the first half. There's a big win condition here in the second. They haven't got much like late round stall, right, to slow things down. But Suzu still finding opening engagements.
It's almost like a Rengar coming out of the bushes, just getting all these kills.
I don't understand the reference.
We'll get some games in like 5 versus 3 as Team Liquid are looking to move forward here towards the A site. And a counter paranoid just to try to hold it down. And Suzu, unfortunately, oh, okay, I thought she was gonna get caught out of that, but swings down, gets the headshot onto Daiki. 2 more to go now for Naxi and Bastardo with 30 seconds left. I don't know, man. I think it's time to lick our wounds and try to fall back and save these weapons.
Yeah, desperately going to try and hold on to these, I think. I mean, look, Daiki, Nachi, and DRN. A lot of funds to spread through this. I'm not even sure, actually, of the ultimate progress elsewhere, but it's unwise to force through and lose these weapons. Something to work with in the next, at least.
Exactly.
But Fennel, find double digits.
I just love how they're inching slowly here off this free cam as they hear the footsteps thundering to Fennel. That really doesn't want to let Team Liquid to save these weapons, and Team Liquid, they're not even shooting.
Yeah, Suzu finds it. Gonna remove one of those rifles. Get Nachi one off the tour de force. The Hunter's Fury being available here. I almost want to say that's probably the best opportunity you could have, right?
Yeah.
Get an orb early on. You've got those 2 rifles to bring in. The Hunter's Fury, obviously, ultimate you can find kills with. Suzu gets away with another one, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Another TP like that.
It's hit or miss, but when it hits, it hurts. And that forces a timeout now.
It's these kind of unpredictable plays that we talked about, you know, Liquid handling very well on ascent, but Fennel getting away with murder in some of these.
Agreed. At least the silver lining, which is side before the timeout, is that Naxi dies, but it powers up the Viper's Pit.
To bring out some of this play style as well, after I gotta say, a very one-sided first map, right? To have the
Yes.
confidence to come out and just say, right, mental reset, we're coming into something. We even said, right, if it goes a little puggy and a little weird, that's what we kind of favor Liquid. But like I said, Fennel just getting away with the unthinkable in some
Yeah.
of these plays with Suzu.
Definitely.
24 and 13. I mean, the scoreboard on the side of Fennel is very top-heavy.
Yes, yes. And when it's chaotic, but at least, as I mentioned on the desk on that first map, when they actually go through the chaos, they're also working together here from Fennel. So despite the crazy plays from Suzu, there's still going to be somebody else right there to try to trade it off.
The other thing as well, we mentioned at the start of this, I mean, I spoke to the coach for Team Liquid, and he was talking about how they are very prep-heavy. You can't prep for this.
Oh, you can't.
You can't prep for somebody just pulling something random out and playing like a beast.
Yeah. And also from these moves, like, we talk about the anchoring, the aggressive positioning here from Nachi from time to time, and this is one of the spawns that we currently see towards this B main, sorry. And it's Festival that's holding it up, playing the same style as Nachi on towards that little cubby.
Bastarda actually peeks ahead of the Dark coming through to confirm that Festival was still posted up on that angle, so first blood comes through. No command will be popped. Actually, Nachi gonna find Len as well.
Yeah. So under that aggressive position from Nachi, she's just running in with the team, being the first contact, and this will allow a plant.
Surely they're shut down Suzu now, right? What? There was 3 sets of eyes posted this way. Finally, Nachi gonna put Suzu down.
The Paranoid hit so many, but she couldn't kill the one that wasn't blinded. That was Nachi at yellow. A 4 versus 2. But we do have, actually, the money's really low for Fennel. We're still gonna go for it for a bit. We get another kill here. We have a Nightfall available for Kurumi. And that's gonna ping a few.
Big investment.
But great counters coming out. Great utility. DRN slows down towards yellow, so they can't really do much yet. Wall is now being broken. Oh, no! Caught on a reload. Kurumi picked off by Bastarda, leaving it on a 3 versus 1, and it's not gonna work. Bastarda taking the matter into her own hands and gets the round for Team Liquid.
Big pace change coming out of timeout as well. Happy to put that a couple of bodies actually into that shoulder peak onto B main, dealing with Festival immediately at the start of the round. Again, the Owl drone coming through, confirming the first you see Bastarda actually even just going for the wall bang. It looked like much wider peak than that. From the other angle. And yeah, sometimes you just gotta laugh it off.
Yeah.
Like I said though, Suzu still finding one from the back lines. Liquid come into this, winning that thrifty now with 4 ultimates online. Obviously that will bolster the economy a little bit as well. 3 players actually sitting comfortable for a repurchase, and an operator in the hands of Nachi.
On the other end though for Fennel, we talked about how the economy was a little low. The timing on that one, Festival still gets one. It's a half buy, or a small armor that we had for a couple of the players. We're forcing a res really early into this round. But to counter it off, we got the Viper's Pit.
Yeah, Len almost hitting the panic button there to prevent any progress on the side of Liquid towards default. Knife will confirm that actually Len's backed away, because I think actually the AoE did cover the entire Viper's Pit, but I'm not sure actually of the timing here. Len's popped it and completely retreated out of it.
Yeah, we saw the Recon Dart going inside that pit, really forcing Len to forfeit from her position, but Koharu goes on the top of B main and gets 2 headshots towards control, and that actually is the spike down at the same time.
It's all the way tucked up against the wall here as well, so it's an awkward cross for anybody to retrieve it. Viper's Pit available for Naxi. We see it employed here. Actually, the wall drops. Suzu's got an opportunity here.
Not
Got
the
2.
best timings going in for Team Liquid. Naxi's gonna have to try to win a 2 versus 1. Has a pit to work with. Has a spike. Has 23 seconds. Pulls out the pit right now. We're just gonna try to go. Just stick it in and see if we could actually get a good position on the pulse plant. Prowler misses her. She falls back towards Snowman. Both players from Fennel. Underhand flash for the double swing. Fully blind is going to be Naxi, and that was well played by Fennel, and they get the defuse to put 11 on the board.
And Naxi's just faced with such an awful decision to make. Does she tuck close to the spike, try and play close contact inside that Viper's Pit, but Fennel stack up. Pop flash is perfect. What a round though, to shut that down. 2 players being dealt with ahead of that spike being planted. Like I said, actually slowing things down massively.
Spike down, B.
There the Kaharu actually the one to find both of those kills.
Yeah.
And here actually you can see completely caught off guard by the toxin cooldown. Suzu Give it another 2 freebies. How many times are we going to talk about Suzu being in a position to just pick up these? You got to say it's stupid kills, right? There's no other way to say it.
Unorthodox for sure,
Yeah.
definitely. And it's working.
Want to play?
The
Let's
pocket
play.
pick, the preparation that we wanted from Fennel, it's paying off. Now we're gonna attempt to get a pick here from the Total Fuss in the hands of Nachi. Aldron also looking to wing out and look for some information. It's going to get the ping on to... Actually, no ping, but at least the information onto Festival.
I mean, spotted on the Aldrone, yes, but again, unfortunate with the timing on the knife there. You can see Festival almost able to avoid the Aldrone entirely. We'll force out the TP and see if there's any rotation coming through from Liquid here. Is finally actually going to be a little bit of focus towards mid. And pressure towards Kitchen as well.
So quiet right now. Kitchen is looking to be taken under control by Team Liquid. Festival, unfortunately, gets pinged out here by the recon, but it doesn't really matter. Still has the operator to work with. And they both missed their shots against Nachi. Null command then comes out, and this might be the call for Team Liquid to start moving quickly into the site. In the back of B, we still have
Oh my
Suharu,
God.
and an op shot miss once again towards Yellow. But the right-click classic, it's a free gun, by the way, gets the frags, and then we're holding it down for Fennel. A 4, make that versus 1. And the last one spotted in the back of this B site. Naxi trying to fight with everything that she can, but she's so low on the HP, and that's gonna be it. The cleanup then, and map point for Fennel.
What a round from Festival. Again, just at the last second, that null command comes into effect, catches, effectively isolating her behind Yellow. A couple of awkward exchanges between Nachi as well. And this is, you think Nachi's posted up on that deep angle. She's going to be able to hold, but there's a back and forth where both operators, well, the Tour de Force and the operator, just missing each other.
30 seconds.
What a crazy round. And Fennel on 12 vans.
It's crazy. And yes, we're talking a lot about Suzu with these crazy kills and these crazy TPs that she's getting, but they talked about it once again on the desk that one of the players you gotta look out for is Festival. So they do have 2 layers into the heavy firepower that Fennel currently has, and look at this push towards the
top.
B-main.
Suzu again.
Yeah.
Fine, it's a 1-for-1, yes, but it slows things down. Len actually retreating away from the site here, but already Kurumi on the rotation. His first blood occurs so deep that they can still get 2 bodies towards B site.
Enough. Her death shield was also able to call out the audible of how many players are out there for Team Liquid. And when you look at the ultimates that are available, there's nothing on both ends. So this is going to be one where Teamwork's going to have to ring. The wall comes up, it's going to be a safe plant, and we're now retreating for Team Liquid to play the pulse plant all the way back, very passively.
2 snake bites, 2 shock darts. No flank coming through. Actually, as I say that, Naxi drifting back towards mid behind this knife. So unnoted as of yet. The retake's coming through fast here for Fennel.
Oh, snake bite that allows Len to push forward off the Prowler. A second one to clear on the back, so they know there's one towards Yellow. But Daiki is just gonna have to bait her teammates for now. Just holding her ground, holding her corner. There's one, but no discipline this time. No swings, no trade transfer. As now Naxi's on a 2 versus 1.
Sticking it.
And that's it.
Festival found it! What a retake by Fennel, paying no respect
Wow.
to that post-plant setup. And they sweep their way back onto site. What a contrast from map 1. Absolute confidence on display here from Fennel. Like I said, pulling out, I would say, a quirky composition, but Suzu making it work here on the Omen. A real curveball.
I can't believe it, and even when you're looking at how these 2 maps have been played so far from Team Liquid, it's been some standard stuff. Right? Keeping the same composition going into icebox, trying to see what they can do there, but then Fennel, they got the tape on that.
Just quickly, nobody else on Fennel got a first blood. It was Suzu with 6 and Festival with 7. And it just shows how commanding they were in so many of these rounds, creating early advantages, and they even noted it early on in this map, how quickly both Liquid and Fennel were able to kind of negate these first bloods. They actually trailed off towards the end of this.
Yeah, it almost looks like that they had no way to adapt as well for Team Liquid. I gotta say, maybe one of those rounds where they had that push coming in from Fennel into the A site where Team Liquid were playing the defense, yes, the ball came up. But outside of that, no counters, no way to read the play that Fennel was coming out with on this very map. And man, this was really, really fun to witness.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there were a couple of rounds where Liquid could kind of rely heavily on just kind of these mechanics, right? Taking gunfights and almost kind of reacting very quickly to what Fennel were doing. But second half, Fennel were in total control.
Yeah.
They created chaos, they embraced it, and Liquid didn't really have a response.
Well, now we're going to go to a third map very soon. What's your take on this now, going through this series, pushing it there?
I mean, again, just coming back to the veto, I would have said early on, and I don't think there would be much of a surprise in saying there's leans towards Liquid. Fennel would have had to have done something to really disrupt what Liquid wanted to bring to this series. Here on Icebox, absolutely achieved that.
Yeah, well, Fennel, they actually got me excited. We're going to a third map, and it's going to be Breeze. And you know what? Their energy is contagious. We're going to have to go to a break. When we come back, Breeze is coming up. Welcome back to the Valorant Game Changers Championship. This brawl between Japan and Brazil continues on. We're going to Mat 3, and you know what? I think I agree with Van Silly. That calls for a little celebration, right? Hey, all right. Huge shout out to Fennel for obviously a stellar performance on Icebox. As we take a look though at the MVP breakdown, Kukuka,
Yes.
like, you know, this, I felt like we were starting to really see that discipline of Fennel come through in map 2.
Oh yeah, completely. Especially after we went after the 6-6 half, we start to see a Fennel that has everything under control. The way that those executes were falling into place, the way that they were getting not only the first kills, but also capitalizing on every single thing, moving forward in the right moments. This is the Fennel by the book that we were told that we were going to see. We definitely understand why they decided to go for the Icebox. I cannot believe that we have another series that is going to the third map today.
Yeah, I mean, Suzu and Festival were literally hand in hand on this map. I mean, we can see Festival just having clip and after clip, getting multi-kill after multi-kill. She put up work with that op on both attack and defense side for her team. And of course, Suzu just doing the most ridiculous plays with that Omen TP, with the Omen up, just randomly peeking out in places that you do not expect her. And just those two combined had so much power and so much space that they almost started just completely denying Team Liquid any of it.
To me, the funniest thing out of it all, to call it somehow, is the fact that we saw a Fennel that definitely celebrated a lot. No, but we saw a Fennel that read into what Team Liquid was doing. It was adapting very well. And we saw Team Liquid that thought that maybe by keeping doing the same thing over and over again, the result was going to change. And of course, that didn't happen. And one of the makers of this score was Festival. You just mentioned it. Alongside Zuzu, the performance that we had from this two round to round was out of this world, and it's definitely something that we're going to need on that third map. So I'm glad that now they're feeling like winners.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, as a matter of fact, I mean, you know, now that we're shifting gears and we're gonna go to Breeze here, you know, there's a big opportunity now for Fennel to really shock the world. I'm sure Team Liquid did not think that they would find themselves in this position. That being said, though, great plays though, regardless from Team Liquid, as what we would expect. Actually brings us to our Verizon high-speed moment, because Bastarda was the one that, you know, was the recipient of this one in particular. Yeah.
One, and
Look at
then
this.
two, and then she's there, three. Completely clean, and she's already
It was like
checking
an
for the
aim-last
next one.
course.
She's already, literally checking for the next. Thank God the production put this on slow-mo, because otherwise we would have missed it.
Yeah, it was so fast that it was too high speed for the Verizon high speed moment. But of course, you know, Basada is going to need to have to bring that kind of skill and momentum that they were building up a little bit in that icebox game that got stunted right then and there. They're going to have to try and refocus and shift that over to Breeze, Athena. It's going to be challenging for them.
Yeah, I mean, with the complete like meta shift comp that Fennel kind of pulled out, I'm kind of interested to see if they do the same on Breeze, because that's kind of where it felt like they were their most comfortable. I feel like Team Liquid definitely had their own moments. They were taking the flash plays, the peaks, all of that. But with Fennel, it was like once they got their comp down, once they got those kind of like sneaky little plays, they adapted perfectly off of it. And with that, like coming into Breeze, yes, it's a puggy map. Yes, Team Liquid has insane mechanics. But as we've seen, so does Fennel, especially Festival on that op. I mean, I am so excited for this matchup.
Yeah, and you heard it there. Breeze is going to be map 3. If you're just joining us here, you got yourself quite the series. Coming into this, sure, I wouldn't have blamed you if you would have been like, oh, Team Liquid should be able to 2-0 after the way the descent played out. But it's very clear that this Fennel team, this is the reason why they are where they are right now. They are throwing different looks at Team Liquid. They were not prepared for that double controller. Maybe they do something wonky here in Breeze. I don't know. But Kukuka, Team Liquid, backs against the wall here for sure.
I mean, one of the things that I really like, we just had Bastarda's high speed moment, and now this is the map where, to me, Bastarda is on like her best fake, and she really feels comfortable navigating alongside the waves of Breeze, because she's going to be on that. It's just
like
next to you.
I just love that I can influence everyone with my terrible dab jokes.
It was the dancing, you know. I feel
was the
lose that. No, but definitely, I wanted to talk about this jet pick. I really hope that that is something that they're going to bring back. We haven't seen changes in compositions for that, but as Athena, you were mentioning, maybe we see it on the side of Fennel, because they were playing with that double duelist Neon Jet. That is extra aggression. I would not be mad at it, because it's really hard to adapt to a composition that you rarely see.
Yeah, I mean, I would be excited to see the double controller come out again. I mean, I'm down for a Viper Omen again. I think Suzu kind of went crazy. I feel like that
but I think that the angles are way more cheekier in icebox. You know, as I said, with like the double hides and you know the cheek.
I mean, I agree, but like with Omen, if Suzu can get the same kind of ratty plays, she can get lurks in. And on Breeze, with such a big, wide map, getting lurks in, getting your own space controller is really, really
So you would like to see Suzu maybe on that Omen, and then Festival move into the chamber? Is that what you would like?
Yes.
Okay. I see where you're going. I kind of like it.
One thing I will say about Festival, though, is that she was getting very ambitious with some of her peaks around the corner, right? Like, there were a lot of times where she was pushing long, and you're like, I don't know if you should do it. Oh, okay, she actually got value out of that. And I think this just goes to show, like, Festival's the type of player to take a bad situation, or what we would perceive to be a bad situation, and then flip it on its head and turn it into a good one. They keep doing that. They keep riding that momentum into this game. Could be quite problematic, but we're going to the Prime Gaming Age and select now, Kukuka.
Yeah, I wanted to see also if those changes in the composition. One of the things that's a little bit jarring for me is that if we do not see changes on Fennel's composition, if they're going to play another composition without flashes, which I think, especially in a map where Viper is so important, where you need to open sights constantly, and that has so many angles to clear on every single step, it's going to be complicated for them to go over it. And apparently, we have no changes.
Yeah, I think this double duelist comp, it can work. So for me,
Yeah, go ahead. Sell me the hope.
Yeah, So for me, this Jet and this Neon, they kind of work hand in hand. Jet is going in, taking the space, and Neon is stunning and completely denying people from peeking that Jet from going in. It kind of acts as like a flash to deter, but at the same time, it lets Jet get in, go behind the Suns and get the kills.
What I love about this is that actually you can see a way where you don't need the flashes. If you have a Viper wall, then you have the Neon wall, then you throw the Cypher cages, and then you also have the Jet smokes. So you don't need the flashes if you can literally create any shape or form in the entire map.
You don't need flashes if you can't see because of the walls that are going to be all over the place. Well, let's see what ends up happening here as we send it over to the casters. And come on, Hypoc, get into the festivities.
Yeah,
you know?
what's that about?
Come on, twirl the hands.
Don't, because now I've dropped my pen. He always find me off in the first 10 seconds. He's already gassing me up to do it as well.
Hey, I'm trying, guys, I'm trying. But at least we're having fun here on the Destas match.
With a Fennel win, I'll dance. There you go. That's just for you, GB.
That's a high pot guarantee. Breeze coming up. We talked about it on the desk with the agent composition. But for me, I want to know here, Hypoc. This is going to be a tough one with a Neon for Fennel against Nachi Cypher.
Well, this is the perfect sentinel to counter this double duelist, right? With this kind of almost raw aggression they're going to look to kind of overwhelm once again. I'm liking actually they've stuck to this composition because that pace on Icebox really suited them. So they're set up to continue that trend here. Like I said, actually it's the saving grace that Nachi has that Cypher set up that can potentially shut that down.
Let's see if that will be the case. The third map now of this series between Team Liquid and Fennel. As Fennel are taking the attack very, very slowly into the round. Recon Dart to try to get a little bit of information, but we're not really reacting on that on either end.
No point of contact comes through yet, actually. Bastarda all the way deep in tube and no sound cues here. So that might even draw the rotation. You can see Naxi considering it. Committed to this double hold here on B side. Actually, with the L drone coming through, there comes the dash. Actually, Trapwire not finding anything on the way in.
Exactly. It's left towards that ladder, but it still works for a couple of kills here for Nachi. Going for the third, and yes, indeed. Tripping over that one, Kurumi gets punished. And that spike down. Koharu by herself. Nice little dink, but she's down at 13 HP. This is not going to be too easy to do, especially now that the defenders are closing in on her. She moves forward. DRN allows Team Liquid to get an easy first pistol round.
Great hold as well, actually. The setup here on B, very, very deep hold, and Nachi making use of that early peak. No pressure coming towards the tripwire, so got to assume that all of that pressure's coming on towards site and find some massive kills on the way in here. Suzu just not even considering the possibility, maybe anticipating a much deeper hold on the back of it being a Cypher.
Yeah. At least what I like from the duelist is they went on in the middle pretty much. Trying to split up that area, trying to see what we're setting up here for Nachi. See if Fennel could adapt to that in the later rounds.
Getting ahead. The difference being, I think there was 1 or 2 rounds we mentioned it on Ascent. Really testing the diligence here with, obviously, Liquid having 2 initiators, right? Both duelists, sure, run it down, but they have to clear these angles. That's how nearly had to get caught out here. With this push, Daiki will find one in tube. There's 2 more to find, though. Should have the info off that door opening as well.
As the door opens up, we have Festival that's just running down towards the staircase, but DRN still holding everything else with the rest of Team Liquid. With the Bermuda Triangle, everybody falls into the trap. Clean anti-eco for Team Liquid.
Yeah, the Prime Gaming Flawless coming through, so all of this equipment carried across into round 3. Actually, 2 Bulldogs to round things out as well, so no real threat of losing out in some of these ranged engagements. Just Inspectors. Good catch as well, this double flank here from Daiki. Make sure the Len can't create any further pressure on towards site. Curious now, actually, the pacing on this first buy round for Fennel. You know, Icebox was a story of momentum, right? Once they built up a couple of these confident, frag-heavy round victories, that's when they look to kind of build upon it.
A great opportunity to do it now when Fennel has rifles to work with against Team Liquid's bonus. Yes, 2 Bulldogs, but the rest are only Spectres. The Owls are going to kiss towards mid. One does get a ping, but it still will not stop Fennel from moving forward on top mid.
Say, unorthodox placement of the poison orb here, and it would lead me towards believing actually they're going to pressure towards Nest, and they will. Daiki, luckily, has backed away. I think reading this poison orb perfectly.
And it's set for a crossfire all towards spawn on Team Liquid. Meanwhile, for Fennel, we've seen these camera setups from Nachi looking down towards B main and also towards Nest. So as the smoke dissipates from the poison orb, we actually did see one towards the top of mid, but did not expect 3 players as Team Liquid, as Fennel are trying to fight back. Lots of utility being used, blocking the vision on both ends, and that's going to be Fennel trying to rush into the A site. Nice little flash coming through, but Suzu cannot get the kill onto DRN at the bottom of the bridge. Finally, we get some trade-offs. It's a 3 versus 2, as they're still trying to move inside the site. Cypher spotted down towards that bridge as Nachi is waiting to be met up by Naxi. Now with this plan, for 2 players towards door.
Yeah, double stacking tube is going to be really difficult for Liquid to dig out. And all Karumi needs to do is just maybe catch a little bit of information, but Lengun on the flank already wants to be proactive here.
One enemy remaining.
Spot the first and the second, an easy one done. Very, very nice for Fennel on the pulse plan, but that conversion towards mid and seeing that poison orb on tunnel, that may be something that Fennel might try to take advantage of if nothing changes for the setups for Team Liquid.
Absolutely, yeah, and we talked about, Nachi being the one typically we see on the chamber, and Liquid like to post very, very deep looking for these engagements. With the Cypher, it's going to be a much, much deeper hold.
Yeah.
Way more passive, almost kind of receptive towards some of these hits from Fennel. So whether or not they try and run away with that, you know, get very early mid control, deep mid control as well, noting that poison orb, things like that.
Yeah.
Curious to see how much Fennel have got cooked up in that regard.
It's going to change a bit. 3 repelling up towards the halls, and that's going to be heard by DRN just under the double doors, and that's going to force the rotate potentially. The calls are coming out, but the spike is still waiting towards B. We're trying to catch Nachi on a rotate out.
They're wrapping B. Again, with no pressure here outside tube, they actually look to try and backfill this B side hole, but Naxi will find the first, DRN for the second as well.
Ooh, the idea was so good there for Fennel, but unfortunately everybody is losing their duels. And just like that, it's a 5 versus 1. Kurumi stuck in the front of B main. Snake fight on the ground. You're just gonna try to see if you can do anything here. Try to make it expensive if you can. That's 2 kills at least to start, a minute to work with. And potentially an orb if your position's given away. Basara's looking for the flank. And she'll get it.
Good cleanup, and actually keeping that in check. Like I said, Fennel looking to get really unorthodox. Very pacey push down tube, but Liquid actually paying a lot of respect to that. They don't risk anything. A lot of this utility burnt up pretty quickly, just to even take that deep tube control. Naxi punishing that. And Nachi actually completely unfazed. Hold towards backside once again.
At least the confidence is that they know they can continue with these duels against their opponents. But just trying to clear out the right angles would be the name of the game if they want to try to go for these spawn pushes. And this round, change of pace. A little bit faster for Fennel. A wall to look up towards mid. We have this Neon pushing forward too from Festival. Big knife though to not allow any more utility to come out from this Neon. Suzu somehow on the right side of Pyramid still manages to get the headshot onto DRN. Now comes out with the Blade Storm, but it gets denied by Bastarda. Meanwhile, Spike has been planted, so at least that's the first check mark. Make that even a second one, as the numbers are dwindling down on the rotation from Team Liquid. 2 players now coming out from mid doors. A 1 versus 1 in the back, and that's Festival once again. Coming to the party and getting a headshot onto Daiki. Big hat to come out to find the information on the last 2. And that's Nachi and Naxi moving up the doors finally. Setup's too good now for Fennel. And Naxi on top of that even gets pinged. What a thrifty coming out here from Fennel.
Beautiful crunch towards double doors as well. And actually, I think Suzu finding that kill with the classic all the way onto default. You see actually the counter peek coming through from the door, but again, Fennel just not giving them the opportunity at all. So yeah, Bastarda luckily removing the Blade Storm pretty quickly from Suzu's hands.
Enemy remain.
A great round from Fennel. And actually forces Liquid back down to just Sheriffs coming into the next. 1 away from the Blade Storm. Whether or not Bastarda's going to go for an early orb. No, back towards bridge here, so no chance of offsetting these pistols here with the ultimate.
Doesn't seem like there's going to be any trap plays, so it's just going to be the overdrive from Festival. Fully blinded, but Koharu is there to support. They spot another one from the ping in the back of Orange, and Festival is clearing towards the right side of the pyramid. All the support comes through, all the information's there, and she does not get the kill as Basara gets the headshot and dashes forward. but that's still period advantage for Fennel. Bastarda has low HP inside the site. Len watching that rotation on middle, and it's gonna come head-to-head against Daiki. I'm pretty sure Daiki saw her, so
Yeah.
that's a potential for her to at least salvage a gun.
Ping comes through on the minimap as well, so Daiki should clear this angle. Then the timing just slips through her fingers. So an upgrade here. Kaharu, the next on the chopping block.
Oh, we're fighting. We want to swing out. We don't want to go for the tight angles. And Daiki
Oh, no.
and Bastarda somehow makes it a 2 versus 1 in favor of Team Liquid. At least both of them are being pinged out, so it's a Sova on Sova. Trying to run that clock down. Shock dart on one end, Daiki on the other. They're just going ring around a rosy around these pyramids, but that spike is taken down. It's not going to happen for the defuse. You just want to try to make it expensive, but you've made it expensive enough.
Another beautiful split through mid. This time as well with the Viper Wall just to complement that, make it a little bit easier. Festival just going ham through double doors, creating so much chaos. Like I said, this player on default on A site just has no opportunity to find a comfortable peak anywhere. Again, I think Liquid talking about potentially leaning towards a more passive hold with Nachi on the Cypher, but they need to actually go toe-to-toe. They need to dip their toes a little bit for these opening engagements because Fennel just running away with the early round.
Yeah, and pretty crazy that Kurumi had to do a Red Bull clutch to be able to save that round here for Fennel, but thankfully, the money's still really good here for the attack. That economy wasn't really damaged at all, and they're still going to still be able to take out an operator into this round.
I think Bastarda actually saving through here to try and get the operator online.
Yeah.
Utilize the Blade Storm here. Naxi one off the Viper's bit, and that will be the full house in terms of this ultimate cycle for Liquid. Same once again though with this push behind the poison orb towards Nest.
Oh.
Festival actually finds Nachi. That's been the problem on some of these B hits so far.
Now a ping out and nice little spacing from Festival, who taps another one in the face of DRN. That's an early 5v2, make that only one more to go. Daiki inside this B site. I'm just gonna save it there, and I just love this. I just love this right now from Fennel. We talk about tape here, Hypoc, and I feel that they have the perfect counter to these camera setups on mid against Nachi.
It's the same thing once again though. Liquid almost being caught off guard and tested previously with that recovery factor. Constantly having to react to this overwhelming pressure that Fennel are able to create. The chaos that ensues as well. I mean, Festival actually with the perfect bait, that reveal coming through to mid, actually tagging the opposite player in this, I think it was Kaharu. And Festival capitalizing on that. It's just beautiful to watch. Daiki will try and hold on to this rifle, but this kind of throws the economy off kilt as well. We're talking about Bastarda holding on to some money, using the Blade Storm to try and get that operator online, and Suzu sharp to it. The Prime Gaming flawless here in round 7, and Fennel put themselves one round ahead here.
Yeah. Definitely feels like you need to do some sort of adjustment, and maybe that...
I was going to say, I'm expecting a timeout to come because there's just no answer. Previously, Nachi was the problem on this B-side split that Fennel were trying to employ and remove so quickly. Not only that, Festival then finds 3 on the round as well.
And not only the first step, getting through the camera, we want to try to see if it can play more passively for Team Liquid in the back of A halls, and you can't really do it.
I mean, I noted actually Nachi would be the perfect counter as the best sentinel to have, you know, one person dashing onto site, and Neon running it down into site as well, but actually, they're completely navigating away from where the utility is.
Yeah.
They're actually creating pressure where Liquid probably aren't expecting it.
Yeah.
The site holds are going to be so robust for Liquid, the emphasis needs to shift towards mid here.
Exactly. Keep in mind that even then, we haven't had too much pressure towards AK if we're on those defaults towards the A-side splits.
Yeah.
Once in a while it happens, but if not, it's all on mid.
Noting as well, I think it was DRN and Naxi previously playing A-side default where they just don't have a chance.
Yep.
Because it's a 4-man hit through double doors. There's no pressure coming from Cave until that contact is found.
Yeah.
And that's when that default player is really going to struggle because they're forced onto the wrong side. And then even then, if you don't peek towards, you know, up towards tube door or towards double doors, then you're isolated so quickly.
Correct, but at least they have what it takes to be able to go for that mid pressure. They have that Silva to work with on top mid with Daiki. They have Bastarda that can play towards the elbow, and they have the KO9 for info.
Could make the argument, though, that typically it would be Nachi, right? Nachi would be posting up with a TP somewhere, find that opening engagement, TP away. They don't have that possibility with this composition.
That is correct. That is also true, so you're hoping that it's going to be the case here with Bastarda exactly there. So the KO and the Jet working to get on mid, but a lower buy.
But it's almost the perfect read from Fennel. Look at the minimap right now. They're anticipating this pace change coming out of the timeout. Beautiful stuff. Fennel looks as if they got their finger on the pulse here on Breeze.
Controlling everything so far. There's jump spotting towards the back of the A halls from Daiki. We have a Viper's Pit onto A main, and that is actually a very interesting pit when you have such a low buy for Team Liquid.
The walking tube is 5. Daiki actually giving up the angle here that yes, the trip is here, but again, look at the problems Naxi's going to have.
Yeah.
And Liquid are left wondering. That's why we see the recon dart invested towards bottom mid.
This is crazy. This is also an opportunity for them to play.
Daiki.
Exactly. So they might not break this trip. Okay, they will do so and just try to push forward. And now you play around the Viper's Pit, plant behind the pyramids.
I mean, what do you do there if you're Daiki? There's 5 people through tube.
You just take out the KY
30 seconds left.
and then just die, right?
Sure. I mean, that looks like
Sorry,
what
that joke.
happened, honestly. Actually, Nachi spotted on that crossing spawn as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Still's gonna make that happen, but Suzu still has an angle in the back of the A-holes towards spawn. Not gonna be easy here for Nachi, but at least the hat's gonna give a bit of information. But we're trying to do these surprise plays off the hat. Not gonna work out. Everybody's getting punished. And that is gonna be Fennel. Yeah, that's crazy. 5 players walking in halls.
I mean,
What do you do?
Fennel just have the right answers right now. Again, great anticipation coming out of the timeout. They expected Liquid to do exactly what they did. They walked into the trap, right?
Yeah.
Left a massive gap in the defense here, and Daiki actually on the second rotation back towards bridge. I said the paranoia is built, right? It has to come and invest that recon bolt towards bottom mid to think, where are they?
Yeah.
And the only point actually, 5 players stacked up on that trap wire. They're ready to explode on the back of it.
And look what happens after. Off the timeout, it's time to go back to at least a poison orb on tunnel. But you're actually going to try to go for this, or you're actually going to try to look for mid. It's not going to happen. There's that conditioning. Look at Team Liquid right now. 3 players conditioned to work towards the mid to fight back. And that's no defense on the A site where we're looking for such a quick and heavy hit.
This is the first time actually there's been heavy presence towards him. Actually
Exactly.
pulled 1 member away from default. So actually, 2 members stacked on the... Actually, Naxi going to find the opening out to Kurumi, so definitely going to slow things down.
Or an all come in. But we're trying to swing through, overcommitted into that kill. And now we get punished back. Team Liquid falling down to an even situation against against Fennel. And that's some aim line practice there from Festival, shooting both her teammates recon and the enemy's one. But that doesn't phase Team Liquid. They still have great position towards the A site. But now we're flipping it towards B, where we also have Festival that can dash it across with the spike on her back.
Bastard is posted up on this, so should find the first. Actually, just a tag. Whether or not Fennel on the back of that peak are going to commit. Yeah, they are.
Bastarda holding towards the elbow. She'll hear all the footsteps. Hunter's Fury coming out on defense. And that's Daiki already at Archway. The plant will at least come down. But can Koharu hold towards this B main against Bastarda? While we do have the fight from Festival, who does get pinged out by the L drone. And unfortunately, Bastarda does the dance, gets the kill, and then a third into the round onto Festival. And Team Liquid fight back.
Great response here. Even there with Naxi looking just a little antsy to try and find that kill, right? To push even further forward. But Liquid anticipating a fake here, or whether there's any confirmation of a second player, a third player potentially tucked up behind bricks. Even the Hunter's Fury just to seal the deal here. Started finding a crucial kill to Koharu. And onto Festival to close things out. Still looking fired up, and actually still a very close scoreline. Don't let the way these rounds have played out deceive you. Fennel, a very comfortable 4-round streak, though. Finally closed off with that retake by Liquid. Ultimate Spire, this Festival and Len. Well, we see them invested here.
Ooh.
Started taking a ton of damage.
And a small change as well from the defense. We actually have Nachi's camera all the way up on top mid, just to support the double push that they have from herself and Bastarda.
Yeah, slight adaptation. Like I said, to shift the focus back towards. Trying to take it out with a shorty.
Somebody else is gonna do it. They pinged it. Kurumi, there you go, breaks it. But still, Team Liquid, they still got the first blood into the round
Oh.
with a battle towards elbow.
As I say, Fennel do have this poison here, orb once again. Whether or not Daikey's going to commit to this challenge. Fennel will put 2 up and Nest once again. Yeah, Daikey wants to peek this. You can see he wants to try and get onto the edge of bridge here. Take a little off angle.
Might be gonna. Oh, okay. The first contact
Beautiful,
was
beautiful crossfire setup.
very well done here by Nachi.
What? Festival still found one.
Couldn't react on the second kill, but the push is coming in from mid doors too on the attack. So can we hold it down on the A site? Nice relay bolt from Festival. Naxi falls, and this all crumbles for Team Liquid. Darren trying to fight back as much as she can, trying to delay as much as she could as the overdrive comes out from Festival. And shocking her opponent. Moving in towards the A site. 10 seconds left on the clock. We have to move quick. It's a
The spike's
1v1.
offside.
It's down on the ground. And Basara still wants to fight it. And wins the round and leads her Team Liquid.
This is such a crazy round. I mean, this crossfire actually getting dismantled is the crazy thing here.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the perfect response. I thought potentially Daikey was going to swing on, like I said, an off angle, just on the edge of bridge there. I'm not even sure actually with the way that Festival and Len are creeping up here. Whether or not she's spotted. I don't know if her shoulder's out of place
Yeah.
or what, but they hard cleared her on the edge of that
One
bridge,
enemy remaining.
which is wild.
Thankfully, you have a star player like Bastarda to clutch that round on that 1v1 to allow here Team Liquid to stay alive in this first half.
You see back-to-back actually, Bastarda fired up on the player cam as well.
Oh, yeah.
And each some of these rounds, right, where they're kind of winning out in raw gunfights, right, to rebuild the confidence. Again, actually, maybe we can talk about that discussion of moving things back towards mid and Liquid, trying to keep that in check. I don't know, it's just a couple of attempts to aggressively take that on the back of potentially Daikey or DRN's utility to find that first blood. Problem being, Fenno is stacked up with like 4 or 5 potentially behind it. I don't think Liquid have really learned about what the default, inverted commas, looks like for Fennel.
But even then for Fennel, since that timeout that came out from Team Liquid, it feels like sometimes they're trying to overplay themselves a little bit, where the success came from middle. Now it's just like, hey, let's not take middle as much. And especially with the camera that they got from Nachi that they broke early, there's a chance here to maybe re-hit towards that mid or even split towards his B site.
Big switch up here actually with Naxi heading over towards B site.
Yeah.
Daikey positioned in nest. You see the pings coming through. I think this might be the round that we might see exactly what I was talking about. Aggressive take on mid on the back of DRN and Daikey's utility. Actually, Festival's stun actually acting as a bit of a deterrent. Second pick comes through from DRN, but no trade-off of damage actually.
There you go. Yep, Daikey playing on the top of mid just to try to drone out in that area. Things that it's clear, but we still have Festival lurking around that area. Meanwhile, though, a little bit of a camera that spots one towards A main.
One here.
Yep. Nice
Spike
push.
noted as well.
Attacker spawn.
I think spotted the second player. Wise to back away though. I started very active in this round. Festival's up to no good.
Spotted 2. And that's a little wall for the fallback, and here's that split into the B site that we talked about, but that's Naxi playing towards this B main, could delay rather into this B site. Snakebite on the ground. Suzu trying to move forward with the Blade Storm out. Now here comes the pit on top of that. Kohalu getting the kill, and the Neural Theft is going to spot all the rest of the defenders, which will allow Fennel to reposition inside the site and try to fight back. But Bastarda answers the call. And a player disadvantage going out for Fennel. It's going to be Suzu with the Judge, Len with the Vandal, and still a couple of guys in, and we will try to go for it. Play.
Oh my god!
Fight for Len to get the kill onto Naxi.
Len finds both kills quick enough that Naxi can't even flank in the Viper's pit.
That is insane.
Crazy stuff. I think Naxi just catches herself off timing. the snake bite coming through onto main was so late, and it was on the back of the toxic cooldown. So no possibility to stop Fennel forcing the issue here on B site. Like I said, finding that second kill allowed her to reset. Beautiful stuff from Len.
That is still crazy, though. It's a Vandal and a Judge in a Viper's pit, where usually the plays stay in there, decay your opponents, and then just judge them, but they ran out of the pit just to get the kills. That is some confidence going into that round. And a big win for Fennel to take the lead by 1. And this also a broken economy for Team Liquid. Forced to play a Blade Storm, DRN has nothing but a Sheriff, and Festival's already moving into the A site.
Festival's just creating even more pressure. Woo! It's not stopped towards double doors this half. And Liquid haven't had a response. They are right now, like I said, isolated here on default. Only a Sheriff punished for it.
But in these moments are when TL could shine. These retakes somehow making the impossible situations possible. Suzu, though, bring the chances back in favor of Fennel, but not until Bastarda gets the headshot on that Blade Storm. Only one more player to go, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Kurumi has to try to go for it. Clutch does get that nice headshot onto Bastarda. Now it's up to her against Nachi. Jump spotted now towards yellow. A little bit of a tag. Hunter's Fury available for Kurumi. 2 shock darts, but looking for her opponent. And her opponent standing still comes up with a flick in the headshot. And that's going to be Nachi to come in for the defuse. And with this third map, we've tied it up 6-6.
It's still crazy to me that this ends as 6-6. With Fennel really taking the fight to Liquid here. Somehow able to weather the storm and come out at an even half. Another fantastic round for Bastarda. So quick on this, and even here, ahead of the spike plant, wants to find the kill on left, weaken that post plant hold, and Natty to close things out. Great shot from Kurumi as well onto Bastarda.
Yeah.
Ahead of that neural theft popping. A little bit of frustration here, yeah, but a fantastic half from Fennel.
And how do you close this off? But before we close it into the next half, let's bring it back to the desk and see what they have to say.
Again, we are being treated to another fantastic game between Team Liquid and Fennel, and I expect nothing less here at this point. And on Breeze of all maps, color me surprised. But anyway, Kukuka, let's talk about this, because, I mean, really, the hits started coming right at the beginning of this game.
First of all, I have to say, Festival is playing a different game. I am
Yes.
so invested in this match, but I wanted to take a look at this pistol round, and we're going to take a look at the map because look at the setup that Team Liquid brings, knowing that they're playing against the Neon and against the Jet. Look at the Cypher with the camera and the tripwire protecting there, knowing also that they can look with the camera, that they have to have control over mid. The KO throws in that 0 point that is indestructible and would give the information onto A, and also keeping control on tube. Mid is going to be sold out, but definitely they knew that they were going against this composition, and they prepared everything to secure that first round, especially shutting down that first super fast aggression that could come perfectly from that double duelist.
Yeah, I mean, that double duelist really is something else, but Festival on this Neon has been doing God's work. Like you said, she's playing a different game.
That
Seriously.
that they're doing on A, I'm still mind blown.
Yeah, I mean, going into their defense side, this Neon is going to be super, super interesting. Obviously, when you do have a Neon and a Jet and double duelist comp, you kind of expect them to be putting pressure towards the mains, kind of taking back some of the space that they know they might be able to lose with that utility. But going forward, like, Team Liquid can kind of bait out that stuff, because the thing about Neon is if she's played right, her B retakes are insane, because she can completely stun off that entire backside. And if their team is playing offside, like you said before, they have the walls, they have the smokes, they have the other wall, they have the cages. Like, it's impossible to play post plant against this comp. So Team Liquid really have to work on baiting this kind of util out, especially on the Neon. And if they're putting pressure towards one side, being able to react in a way that will deny them from any of those early picks, for sure.
Yeah, it's really just been a beautiful game to watch, and I'm excited for
I
the
need more.
second half. We need more, so let's send it back over to Vansili and Hypok. Hope you get your celebration ready. Bye.
You wanted more, you got more. The second half about to start things off, and it's a clean slate from everything that happened for the first map until now. And it all comes down to potentially this second half, or maybe we'll see OT because it's so close.
Yeah, I mean, interesting stat here though. Liquid 5-0 on decided maps in 2022. The big question actually is to come back to Athena. Actually, what you mentioned on the desk here, this composition, they need to have something cooked up to make it work, right?
Yeah.
The concern always being, especially on Breeze, right, is making this double duelist, hyper-aggressive composition work on defense. Actually, Liquid have found themselves a wide open B site here.
Oh.
So going to test that retake ability of Neon immediately in the pistol.
I think I'm going to have to stretch my muscle jaws because I feel that this is going to be very explosive, but an attempt for a retake here onto Fennel. Spike goes down, and we have great positions at least for the pulse plant, but there's no snake bites to work from Naxi.
You see, actually, 3 members technically committed towards site here. Actually, Suzu going to find the first Daiki on a wild jump swing. Kaharu's found another one as well. No answer back from Liquid just yet.
Okay, well, through the toxic screen does get one. And now the numbers are coming back in favor
You're
of
in
Team
top
Liquid.
two.
It's a 2 versus 2. Make that a 1 versus 1. DRN versus Suzu, but Suzu's low in HP. Thankfully, she does have the Sheriff to work with. And it's up against the Ghost
Oh
of
my
Peeta,
God.
and DRN gets a 4th kill into the round. And that's the second pistol round into this map for Team Liquid.
Suzu getting tagged up earlier only needed another shot or two from DRN to close things out, but I thought just for a moment there, the timing was going to slip through her fingers. Liquid, though, get the first on the board in the second half. And again, actually, I was saying, there was no response from Liquid just yet, but when DRN finds these 2 kills, then resets for the third. Karumi falling here is the problem, right? Because Suzu in this scenario, Sheriff in hand, I don't think the dash was even available here ahead of the suppress. Makes it very difficult to recover that. And again, Liquid have found themselves a wide open B site. Fennel anticipating a switch up in round 2, but just not there. Whether or not Liquid are just going to look to pile the pressure onto B site on their attacking half here.
A gamble stack that we have for Fennel towards the A side, but look at this. They do have a camera that could be used as soon as they want to pop out towards this wall of the B site. And let's see how that's going to come into play. There you go, already broken. Not going to do much. Allowing now Fennel to walk back down towards their opponent's toxic screen. Not going to be able to do too much at this point. After Bastrada spots the first contact, everybody just swings out. So the flood that you wanted to do from Fennel actually just funnels into their death.
Pinged out as well, Suzu down to 30 HP. Once again, the pistol finds a headshot, but Daiki closes things out. It's a Prime Gaming flawless in the second round here. Liquid off to a convincing start here. Once again, those Bulldogs going to be carried across, so no concerns if Liquid want to look for a ranged engagement here on the bonus. Started with some early kills as well. DRN actually leading the charge, 1 away from the null command here.
Yeah.
In terms of this first ult cycle. We'll see what the response is here from Fennel. Their first full purchase. Well, no, Liquid actually going to lean towards B side once again, which, looking at the minimap, might be the case. So hoping Kaharu can slow things down here. A deep setup with the tripwires. Spycam dealt with immediately. Has to retreat, has to fall away from this.
Another quick hit from Team Liquid into this B site. We're looking to see if we can get this plant for DRN, and getting that plant with DRN will allow to have an ult command to happen. We talked about circling these orbs if you can to try to get an ult as fast as possible. When you have it on your bonus round, it's huge. You like your chances.
She's going to go through, going to catch a lot of Fennel here, but actually Karumi overwhelmed. Actually a second, a third comes through.
It is overwhelming indeed. Only 2 more to go to take down if Fennel wants to win this round. Daiki on a 3 versus 1. Drops the first shock dart close. No damage. Circles around the other end, but Len was there to protect. They stopped the bleeding. Festival at 2 HP, but they still managed to get the round.
Good damage once again here, but the problem being, this is kind of almost, we were talking about conditioning on icebox very early on here. Liquid are almost conditioning Fennel to put a little more focus towards B side, right?
Yeah.
About Kaharu being caught off guard, being forced very, very deep away from this B side hold, and actually, Diligence shown actually making use of Daiki's utility to try and deal with these close tripwires so that you can create a little bit of space with Bastardic. Unfortunately, not finding a kill off any of them. I mean, Kaharu's completely overwhelmed. There's no point going 1 for 1 at that point. The retake pays off. You see here the problem being is 3 classics to offset these 2 rifles. Fennel don't want to allow their economy tilt a bit. An aggressive push will get them the Blade Storm here, even though Festival falls. Retrieval of the weapon though.
It's a good start. So falling back towards the side, but look at this push to the holes, as you mentioned. Bastardo now gets the headshot into Kaharu. It allows them to maybe go for a fake to split into the B site while the rest of Team Liquid are still holding towards cave. Being very cautious still by clearing out with the Owl Drone, doing whatever they can. But this seems to be another easy site to take. The battle coming up towards middle. As Bastarda is under heavy attack. Kurumi somehow manages to get the kill onto Nachi behind Bastarda, who is there for support. Here comes another duel coming up towards top mid, and there you go. She's having her game.
The last shot will land onto Karumi. It's just Suzu now with this Blade Storm that they worked so hard to get. But the start of this round. Get a little upgrade here, potentially, with the Vandal, but 3 more to find here. It's going to happen. Daiki will seal the deal here. 9-7 for Liquid. Bastardo almost creating a little bit of Fennel-like chaos here, getting all the way down into Tube. Fennel kind of left wandering exactly where the rest of Liquid are positioned. So this was with Fennel bringing in 3 classics into this just to make sure they can buy in the next. Decent progress here towards some of these ultimates as well. Festival, Karumi, Wanna Wait, Kaharu as well, actually. This is an important round though. This is ultimately for Fennel to keep things interesting here in the second half, and potential in this round for Liquid to really apply the pressure in terms of the finances. This will be double digits and arguably should be round 11 as well if they can close this out.
Yeah, definitely. The first one to get double digits will probably get that confidence to try to close this game. Team Liquid are only 1 away. But meanwhile, as you look at the defense from Fennel, they have added so much pressure towards this mid. Suzu currently waiting while Team Liquid are still holding a very, very slow spawn, expecting these pushes, trying to punish Fennel. So now the angle comes back in favor of Suzu on by the castle. Back with Bastarda spotting 1 player, 1 opponent inside the A halls, and finally Team Liquid are looking to explode potentially into this A site.
Still 3 to hold this though. It's a deep hold, yes, but we're not going to rely on maybe a little bit of utility towards default. Festival, meanwhile, has slipped the net all the way down Tube, and there's no utility to stop this flank coming through Cave whatsoever.
30 seconds left.
Liquid need to have their heads on a swivel. Nobody on site needs to challenge until Festival makes a move here. And that's going to be it. Naxi will fall. That's the Viper will remove.
Oh my god! 2 headshots on the DRN and Bastarda, and finally gets stumped by Daiki. We're fighting back and she's all alone towards the A cave. And gets another one as Len opens the door. Surprise!
I have this
As she comes knocking, looking to get this one into this A slide, but Suzu's there on the flank.
Oh my god! What was that from Festival?
Oh.
You think maybe 1 or 2, but lining up onto default there, no hesitation whatsoever. Oh, what a map she's having.
I was just gonna say, like, okay, a backstab, being able to get the skill into Viper, no snake bites available, and this happens?
I mean, the great thing is, like I said, nobody on site needs to move until Festival actually pulls the trigger.
Yep.
It just so happens it's 3 for Festival in the back lines. Like I said, the worst one to fall first is Naxi, right? That Viper wall is removed. There's no real safety net on site. Liquid looking to up the pace a little bit here. No secrets about this initial A presence. Festival once again looking to get into the back lines. This time around the wrong side of that Cypher utility though.
Well, that's gonna be our job. Try to break the utility. They'll hear camera, and Naxi gets the first kill. Hunter's Fury to come out, but Suzu's also spotted on that flank, thankfully, from Nachi's camera, who's looking to reflank towards mid. This is differently. Falling back into the A side. Play your numbers. Play the pulse plan. Door is opening as 2 players are now spotted under the bridge. Bastarda still being the main point, communicating all of this to our teammates, and Suzu comes from behind, does get the headshot, and is now moving forward. We're trying to battle back towards the headshot angle, towards the rail, another one onto DRN. The smoke will dissipate, couldn't get the flick. A 2 versus 1, Daiki at 5 HP. As that clock is ticking down, Len is just on the left side of the pyramid, looking to stick it, but about to get turned around from behind, and that's Naxi to get the round, and that's Team Liquid, the first to get double digits.
Liquid not letting it get to their heads. A confident push onto A site, but the finances starting to dwindle with how the last few rounds have played out. Liquid do have the advantage in terms of this ultimate cycle. But Fennel, not giving up, man. Not going quietly, still. Looking to go toe-to-toe with Liquid. See, actually, Len does have that Viper's Pit available now. Be able to potentially muster together a purchase around that if they do want to maybe force a judge into it. Problem being Suzu kind of offbeat in terms of the Blade Storm. And Liquid just have so much to throw at this.
Exactly. So many ultimates.
Yeah.
Fennel has 2, yes, but also you saw the economy before it went to the timeout.
I mean, even an Orb and a Plant will get DRN and the Null Command as well. It'll be the full house. And this is tricky as well. We were talking about the situation previously with the potential for a snowball round, right? This could be 11 if Fennel want to let this one slip, and then that margin for error decreases once again. Problem being, it's going to, like I said, it's going to be a Judge and a Spectre to offset a couple of rifles. Festival, obviously, not having the ultimate available either.
Yeah. Used it on that previous round just to try to clear and get the flank into Cave, and couldn't get much value out of it as Naxi was watching that flank. As you've mentioned that previous round where they actually did get that huge flank from Festival, we actually looked much quicker to make sure that no flank was coming across here from Fennel.
A second body as well. Daiki actually
Yes.
comes all the way back to make sure that it's kind of, we can play trades.
Yeah.
You know, worst case scenario is it's a trade.
Well, Bastarda wants to watch this. Moving forward towards the halls, an off angle on the other end. Festival, a little bit antsy, was looking to go for the swing. But as now a couple of pings come out, the dash comes through, but it's still gonna be the pistols. This broken buy from Fennel with only 2 Sheriffs, and now a salvaged Vandal, and make that even 3 Sheriffs. This is looking good.
Viper's been put out though. Naxi looking to try and find this plant. Naxi's already noted this flank though. One of the tripwires was activated. But it's going to be 2 members of Fennel. Karumi's pushed all the way through Tube. Spycam going to spot it out. Great use of utility. The trapwire as well, so Naxi will note 2 on the flank.
Cage trigger.
And they've spotted Karumi, but the rotate goes back towards mid.
Daiki's actually got Hunter's Fury as well, so another
Yep.
post-plant tool here. Karumi has to create some pressure in the back lines.
Very important, but this wall's about to come down, and that's gonna be 2 players. Perfect trade for Fennel, and the hat's gonna come out to spot the last 2. We're just gonna try to stick it.
That's
No time to get into position for the Hunter's Fury. We can actually just stick it. We can just eat that.
Remaining.
a total oversight here. I'm not sure whether or not the Cloudburst covering that recon bolt and the tag not coming through, but Fennel just stick the defuse. They went around they have absolutely no right to.
Yep.
And a big investment as well. Naxi caught off guard with a beautifully timed double peek. There's actually as well, Len and Kurumi finding 2 kills that they absolutely shouldn't have.
Yeah, I just want to know what happens here. Look at the x-ray of what happened. Well, this is just before. She's already behind the wall safely to be able to activate the Hunter's Fury. It looked like she was trying to rotate back.
I'm not sure where the dart ended up, because the dart was sent to backside. I'm not sure if that was intended to scan default, and it didn't.
Maybe.
But a major oversight from Liquid in that post plant.
Fortunately, some spaghetti. And that will put now Team Liquid with the Hero Rifle onto Bastarda and pistols for the rest. No command available off a post plant if they want to. So gain control towards his A side for Team Liquid. Some opposition from Fennel at the staircase, at the door. The Owl Drone looking for some information. And finally we have the plant coming down.
Taking a long time to get that plant down, but
Yeah.
no challenge from Fennel. They want to make sure all this util's burnt up. Liquid don't have the advantage just yet. Festival gonna find Nachi though. DRN gonna be isolated here on default.
Exactly, the recon spotted too. We know one's at bricks. Oh, she's hiding just behind it. Couldn't get the flick onto Bastarda. But meanwhile, we have lost a player towards that right side pyramid where DRN was isolated.
Surely not again. Okay, initially the tap comes through. I think maybe a snake bite landing here.
The
Yes, Naxi
lineups.
gets the kill.
Now despite the Fuser's killed, nobody else is on it. Somebody else has to stick it, but it doesn't work. The utility off the lower buy of Naxi saves it for Team Liquid.
And they employ it in the thrifty round. And
That's
Fennel
insane.
want to, they kind of want to respect it, right? They want to kind of avoid any nonsense with dying to pistols, you know, run into a Judge, a Spectre, creating a close combat engagement. But the perfect round to pull this out. And rely on the snake bites from deep. I was saying, surely not again that they get this Viper stuff and just stick the defuse, but the snake bites pay off.
One of those moments where it didn't seem like Fennel had somebody that wanted to try to work back on the flank, and they paid the price for that. Team Liquid now up at 11. Looking to change the pace and work back towards this B site, where they also have found some success on some explosive hits towards this B site.
We get lots of sound cues though here. On B side, whether or not Liquid are going to try and pause for thought here, cut noise. Aldrone actually going to come back and try and catch a rotation potentially, but it's only Nachi, not necessarily a big indicator that she's still lurking outside B. That'll confirm it though with their starter being here. Might even keep all 4 members committed.
I mean, they do have only a pistol round, right? Try to play your numbers advantage inside the site. Try to gamble it once again. You have a camera trip set up towards the A site. And that's going to help you get that information. Here comes a null come in, so we want to play it very safely for DRN. And it allows for a split from Team Liquid into this B site. Everything gets opened up. Nice little flash coming through, and Festival is just trying to fight back with Koharu. That's only going to be one left. To no avail, just like that. Team Liquid are now at series point.
Diligence shown on the way through here, and actually not afraid to use the null command, removing that Viper wall and really that safety net that allowed Fennel to stack up and prevent any progress towards site. Now Fennel backs against the wall. Koharu, Suzu, ultimates available. Liquid, we talked about having a full house just a couple of rounds ago. Nothing to put in here, but started one off the Blade Storm. Doesn't even need it the way she's playing. Absolutely, had a Suzu level performance here on Breeze. Putting up numbers for Liquid. Another switch up once again. It's a deep wall on 8 for Fennel. And this Cypher set up here to try and counter Bastardo.
Such an interesting setup too. Only putting one player towards Elbow with the push, and the rest of them stacked towards this A site for a Fennel, but it doesn't work out. They still lose the first player into the round, make that even a second one, and we're just pushing through. Oh, a save from Kurumi though to allow her teammate Len to stay alive under the bridge, and this flank is now going to be important. Daiki looking to fight back. It's a Blade Storm out in the hands of Suzu, playing the off angle. Doesn't know if Suzu already crossed over. Nice jiggle peek. Oh, and the updraft through, but it's swatted like Duck Hunt. Bastardo now inside the site. Only one more to go. Low HP onto Len on the 4 versus 1, and that's going to be it. Team Liquid able to win the series, 13-9 on the last map of Breeze.
What a crazy decider here. Fennel still putting up a fight, and honestly, walk away with their heads held high here. Honestly, completely defying expectations in my eyes, taking the fight to Liquid and putting up a brilliant performance. Some of these individuals for Fennel, Festival in particular here on the final map, Suzu and Festival on map 2, just lights out performance here. But Bastardo, almost kind of like with one of those tilt level performances here on Breeze.
We gotta try to digest this a little bit more too, that on this second map, right? First map Ascent, it didn't look too good. It was pretty, like we didn't have an answer for Fennel, right? Against Team Liquid onto that first map. But we played Icebox on the second map, and we went crazy with this Omen to be able to just knock down Team Liquid in their home field.
Like I said, from a stylistic standpoint, you'd almost expect Liquid, once the game kind of descends into that puggy play style and it's, you know, raw aim fights and whatnot, would have given that to Liquid. So to come out here and, well, even in itself, cause an upset by bringing this to 3 maps in my eyes, right?
Yeah.
I have no shame in saying Liquid probably should have closed this out in 2, right? But lots of positives to take away for Fennel here.
Exactly. I think Fennel did an excellent job to put East Asia on the map right now, putting their name into the game changers, and on top of that, also putting respect onto the scene, the region, because I don't know, man, I think some flat chat people kind of put Fennel kind of low going into this event.
Yeah, I think I saw the screenshot. Yeah. Whether or not they're watching, or whether or not they'll own up to it, but the individual kind of prowess from some of these players on Liquid was kind of what sealed the deal here on Breeze, even where the point where, you know, Liquid were tested, they were happy to come back. Bastardo being the driving force there, the tip of the spear for Team Liquid. That's what you want to see really coming out. It's such an exciting decide as well. Fennel bringing some really unorthodox strats, particularly on the attack, to kind of counter this setup. Like I said, actually would have been the one, right? It's the perfect pick in terms of Sentinel to counter this double duelist, but we still came out with a 6-6 half, and I feel like actually I would have tipped the advantage in favor of Fennel in that first half.
Yeah, I agree with you that Fennel, it looked like on that first half they had full control of that map, and this still came back and forth on that second half. Again, the scoreline doesn't really give it justice into how close these rounds were and how good Fennel played. Festival, I think, is one of those players where, you know, we didn't see her too much on that second map because of Suzu, but on that third map, man, she popped off.
Yeah, like I said, it's difficult. That's the real test, right? Running, kind of playing this sort of game and bringing this sort of composition, it's tested really on the defense. It ultimately relies on Liquid overextending, overcommitting to some of these opening duels, but strength in numbers, they were able to counter that perfectly in the rounds that Fennel tried to achieve that.
Yeah, and now look at that at the bottom here, the in-zone MVP between Bastarda, Daiki, and Naji. I mean, those are also three great players from Team Liquid that it's hard to choose from. Who do you got?
I got Bastarda for the last map, honestly. That was a performance that Liquid needed. They needed their duelists to step up and go toe-to-toe with this aggression that Fennel brought to the game today.
Yeah, I gotta have to go potentially with Naji. Naji on that first map was one of those players that did very, very well. If it wasn't going to be into a competitive first map there for this team of Team Liquid, it could have been a whole different game there onto that second map, right? It could have been a 2-0 into Fennel. And let's talk about that. There was a potential, if it wasn't a good map on the first map for Team Liquid, that Fennel would be moving forward. Now they play the lower brackets. It's gonna be competitive down there as well.
Absolutely, yeah. If anything, this has installed way more confidence for Fennel in my eyes. To bring Liquid to 3 and it be as close a fair as it was, ascent aside, there's some real hopium flowing through Fennel's veins right now.
Let's continue and talk about that lower bracket, though. They have a potential to face off against Guild X, and Guild X earlier on today also had a great series against Shopify Rebellion, but unfortunately fell into the hands of Shopify. And what's your take on that series? We got to watch that into the green room.
It's a tall order, right? Drop into play the first place for me. EMEA coming through.
Listen, we gotta have one, man. You already got the G2 win. Give us at least a Shopify Rebellion.
But this is the thing now. Fennel have got themselves kind of over that initial hurdle. Coming here, playing like this in this series is a huge positive. Performance aside, scoreline aside, I think they should go in, like I said, come away from this with their heads held high and be confident coming into that Guild series.
Yeah, and what I do love about that too is just the amount of different compositions that are coming out into this tournament. You're looking through the qualifiers or everything that happened in each region. You have some teams that are coming out with pocket picks, such as like G2, for example, and that's really putting a lot of people off guard. And after watching that first series, or not the first series, but when they actually had that matchup against Cloud9 White, it's like, okay, well, now we're going to have to think about maybe not floating Pearl into these rotations, man. G2 is coming out to play, and I don't know, man. I know I'm an NA caster, but G2 is looking pretty good in this tournament.
I gotta get, well, G2 always look good, that's the thing. Other than this hurdle, obviously in the final qualification step to get here coming out, they've come out and shown their true form here, I think, already in Berlin.
Well, what does that give you about Guild X, though? If G2 is going to be that team that has always been that strong, but Guild X finally beat them through those qualifiers, I don't know, man. Like I said, they did lose.
Are you huffing the EMEA hopium right now? We've got two good teams here for EMEA. I'll leave it at that.
At this point, I don't even want a, what do you call it, an EMEA and NA Grand Finals, because I'm seeing so much potential from all of these other regions as well.
Liquid is my dark horse here at this event. I'm hoping they can follow through from this.
Liquid, let's see. For me, I was going to put Fennel because I didn't have a chance to really do as much studying until we got into like the final days of the event, and I'm like, yo, these guys can actually, these players can actually work in tandem very, very well, and I think they were able to display that on the playstyle we've seen throughout this week for these two teams. But what's your take going into the tournament? If it's not going to be Team Liquid, what's your look on Crew?
Crew, I think it's a tough first series to really recover from. I expected a lot more from them. It being C9 White on the other side of things, you can kind of allow a little bit of leeway there, but it's going to be difficult to dig themselves out because that was a brutal defeat to C9 White, which you could say is expected, but that's tough for that to be the first showing here on land.
Yeah, and X10, another one of those teams. I mean, we're going through all the teams right now, right? Let's go with the last one, X10. I mean, they also did have a very tough game as well against C9. Against Team Liquid, and they're going to have to fight back in the lower brackets, but I think we've talked enough. I think we are going to bring it back to GB, where he's just going to start dancing for us. So, GB, what do you got?
Hey everyone, and thank you guys so much for that. We just have a quick update on the Valorant Game Changers Championship schedule. So we just want to be very clear here. Due to local restrictions, the match between Shopify Rebellion and Team Liquid is actually going to be rescheduled to Thursday, November 17th at, I wish I knew that time. I wish I could say it. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock CET. I'm an American, so I don't know the whole 15 joint. But to accommodate this shift, the tournament schedule changes will be the following. As we have the new schedule, we can go ahead and run it there. And also, just an FYI to ticket holders, the doors to the arena will open 1 hour prior to the start of the match. So make sure you note the new start times there. The first match is going to be Shopify Rebellion versus Team Liquid. And then we'll have Crew versus X10 Sapphire, followed by Guildex and the Fennel to close things out. But in any case, so stick around. After the break, we're going to have our Valorant Game Changers Championship post-show, as well as our interview with the winner from the Team Liquid Fennel matchup. We'll see you guys, as always, on the other side.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome two brand new representatives from Brazil and Japan to the international stage. Here are Fennel, Hotalava, and Team Liquid.
Nachi, though, to find the first one Spectre and the second festival will fall.
Big flash to come out. Nachi continue to go to work. That spike down, and that's a clean prod. Give me flawless. What trigger discipline? There's 1 and 2, and the crossfires. Perfect. Bastacha, what a beautiful cloud burst to just give a one-way angle, and that was pretty much it. Clean right now for Team Liquid. Team Liquid takes the first map against Fennel, 13-4. Fennel looking to rotate back towards mid. Unfortunately, the flash doesn't work to get the blindness, so that's Suzu with 4 kills into the round. But Bastana's already there towards the back of the side. Null command coming up. 3 kills somehow coming in. Through the toxic screen, nice headshot. Comes in for the defuse, and she will get the clutch for Fennel.
What a contrast from map 1. Absolute confidence on display here from Fennel.
When we come back, Breeze is coming up. And still a couple of dives in, and we will try to go for it.
Oh my God!
Like for Len to get the kill onto Naxi. Team Liquid able to win the series 13-9 on the last map of Breeze.
What a crazy decider here. Fennel still putting up a fight and honestly walk away with their heads held high here.
Welcome back, everyone, here as we break down that incredible series between Team Liquid and Fennel. Of course, Golden Boy here alongside with Athena and Kukuka, who have been lecturing me throughout the entire commercial break about how the rest of the world tracks time, because I am, in fact, a filthy American. What an incredible series that was, though. Top to bottom.
I mean, I have to say that everybody comes to the matches with expectations. Mine for Fennel were definitely there by what I had seen from them, but I thought that they would suffer a lot against Team Liquid, and I am so happy by the performance that we've seen from them.
And you know, listen, Vansili and Hypoc were out there calling out the Plat Chat team, you know, saying the standings. I don't blame them for ranking Fennel where they ranked them. They're just, we had no idea how they were going to play.
I mean, it's Platcha. They have to be wrong, right?
They have to be wrong. That's the entire purpose of the podcast. Anyway, though, but Athena, yeah, I mean, while we are talking a lot about Fennel, let's shift the focus to the winners of that match, Team Liquid. They played unreal throughout the whole series and really showed us that this team is quite scary in this competition.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely showed that their time together is no joke, that they can bring that to whatever matchup they're playing against, even if it's against a completely random meta, completely new comp that maybe they've never seen before. They still managed to hold their own. And here, Team Liquid, finally, they connected the dots on Breeze. We see Bastarda kind of going crazy at the end. Like, she really, really popped off. Both Festival and Bastarda put up a really, really good fight. But, you know, like, Team Liquid really managed to keep to their strengths. You know, they didn't try any crazy comp changes. They didn't try doing anything really, really crazily different other than play together as a team more and adapt more.
After that 6-6 half, anything could happen, and to see Team Liquid actually take a step back and be like, okay, we've been already surprised by what they've done on the attack. Let's see what they're going to do on the defense and then adapt from that. We're still going to be aggressive. We're going to be, you know, loyal to our style, but we need to really win this one, okay? We've been in this situation before, and I think they pull it up beautifully.
Yeah, and I give a lot of credit to the coaching staff as well. Key
Yes.
timeouts that allowed them to make those adjustments, whether it was the aggression that we were seeing in mid from Fennel, and then Team Liquid responding and being like, okay, let's try and see if we could slow this down a little bit while they were on the attack, and then flipping it over and recognizing they're only gonna, you know, play retakes on B, so let's abuse this, take advantage of it. A lot of rounds were gained because of that. It's just intelligent across the board. But before the break, though, we actually asked you guys to vote for the in-zone player of the match. You had a few options, and there were some great options to choose from, and Bastarda is gonna walk away with the in-zone MVP. Yeah, you know what, though? Very well deserved.
It's always a win for Chile, you
It's
know?
always a win
It's
for
always
Chile.
a win for Chile. Maybe not for crew, but maybe for Chile. So I'm very happy for Paula. I think before the freeze started, I said this is the map where we need to see her shine. This is the map where I feel like she's in her comfort pick and definitely the most comfortable. Maybe not on the first half it was where it was shown the most, but on the second one it was all about her.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Well, let's actually go ahead and head over to Yinsu. He's actually going to be standing by with our MVP, Bastarda, and our translator, the homie, Dryad, who we get to see on the stream here for our Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy and the Desk. That's right, I'm joined right now by Bastarda from Team Liquid and Dan, who's here to translate. First of all, congratulations on the win. I think after map 1, we thought it was going to be an easy series for you, but things kind of got tougher. Did you expect things to get tougher, and how did you guys deal with that?
Después de ese primer mapa, pensamos que iba a ser un poco más del lado del Liquid, pero después se puso un poco más difícil. ¿Esperabas que fuera tan cerca?
No, la verdad no me esperaba que íbamos a perder ese mapa porque es un mapa que hemos entrenado bastante, pero falló mucho la comunicación en equipo y eso nos hizo perder, la verdad. O sea, podíamos haber ganado muy fácil, pero falta de comunicación, y aparte porque la composición de ellas, como que hace tiempo que no nos jugamos en contra, nunca habíamos, o sea, hace tiempo que no jugamos contra un Omen, y además como que es difícil escuchar los TPs del Omen también con tantas personas, y entonces fue un poco difícil, pero básicamente fue falla de comunicación, pero nosotros ya pasamos por esto muchas veces, entonces nos fue difícil resetar y volver al juego.
To be honest, it was not a map that we were expecting to lose. We were not expecting, but things went wrong with the communication, and there were a couple of issues that we had to fix regarding that topic. And at the end of the day, it was also a composition that we were not used to with the Omen, and even hearing the TPs was a little bit difficult, but it was mainly that communication.
Now, we talk a lot about LAN experience. Of course, this is the first ever international LAN event for Game Changers. G2 are a team that we praise for having that, but I think people are forgetting that you guys played 22 maps already this year on LAN back in Brazil. How valuable do you think that experience has been for you guys here?
Siempre se habla mucho de lo importante que es la experiencia en LAN y han hablado de otros equipos, pero a muchas personas se les olvida que ustedes seguro han hecho 22 mapas en LAN. ¿Y cómo crees que eso te ha beneficiado en un evento como este?
Lo que nos beneficia básicamente es que nos sentimos como en casa cuando venimos a jugar en LAN. Cuando me senté acá por primera vez, yo dije yo ya había jugado aquí, es lo mismo que estar en Brasil. Me sentía cómoda en ese sentido, ya sabía lo que se venía, entonces como que me sentía cómoda en verdad, y eso es como el único beneficio, y básicamente eso.
When I sat down, I just felt at home, and I knew that it was comfortable and it was going to be the same thing as Brazil, so it was a big advantage as well to take it.
How different do you think this LAN has been compared to the LANs you have played already this year?
¿Qué tan diferentes crees que ha sido este LAN comparado a los de Brasil?
La diferencia es que ahora hay personas como torciendo por unos perdones que yo se me mezcla el portugués y el español, pero nada, eso básicamente, aparte las animaciones atrás, en la luz también, porque era un poco más por allá, y básicamente eso.
The difference is the audience and the people kind of rooting for the teams, also a little bit of the lights behind and the screens that were behind.
When it comes to audience and I think everyone that's watching you, I think everybody keeps calling you the dark horse. People say, oh yeah, they're kind of our pocket pick. How do you feel about that? And do you feel like maybe people should be seeing you as one of the contenders as opposed to one of the dark horses?
Muchas personas están diciendo que ustedes son de pronto el Dark Horse. ¿Y cómo te sientes acerca de eso? ¿Te parece que es verdad o te parece que no? Dark Horse.
¿En qué sentido?
Como que mucha gente tiene otros favoritos, pero ustedes son como un favorito secreto.
No sé. O sea, cuando llegamos acá ya sabíamos que éramos underdog por causa de que G2 y Clouden tienen mucho, son más estrellas, por así decirlo. Entonces, como que básicamente venimos sin presión y me siento súper tranquila, la verdad, porque ya cumplí mi sueño de llegar aquí y estoy jugando súper tranquila. Entonces, como que no tengo una presión y nosotros tampoco, creo.
Coming into this tournament, we already knew that we were the underdogs and people were not expecting much, but I feel calm because I know teams like G2 and everyone else is here, and being able to play it, this is what I wanted. This is the result that I wanted.
And lastly, and very quickly, you said this morning it was the first time you ever trash talked a team against Fennel. You got Shopify next. Anything spicy you want to say to them?
Silencio y trabajo nomás. No, nada que decir.
Silence and work, nothing else. There's nothing else to say.
I love that. Thank you so much, Asada, for joining me, and thank you, Dan, for translating. I'm going to throw this back to the desk to close out the show.
That's right. You just silence and put in the work. Period. Enough said. Love that, and I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing this Team Liquid roster coming out with just so much confidence, right? Even in the pre-match interviews beforehand, right? Like Kuku, they were so confident the whole time, and I love that for them.
Yeah, I think that the experience comes in a different level for them. The fact that they feel comfortable, that they spot so little differences between what they've done already and what they have in front of them, I think is really going to play in their way.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and zoom on forward, though, to our HyperX Reflex moment for the day, and has to go, Athena, to Festival with this amazing 3K. I mean, Festival was just unbelievable this whole series, really putting the work in.
Yeah, I mean, Festival put up the numbers, she put up the fights, she made plays, she constantly clutched, it felt like, even on Breeze when she did that flank on the Neon and just absolutely decimated the other team. Like, no one has been ready for the way that Festival has been playing at this LAN. And look at her, she's so cute and she's so humble. Look at that, like, I just love that for her. I think she really, really popped off and she really showed what she has today.
Yeah, it was just an overall for Fennel, it was definitely a statement-making game for them.
Oh, totally,
They
for
showed
sure.
everyone that they are a team that is here to compete. I think that if you are doubting Fennel at this point in the tournament,
You're blind.
yeah, you may need to check your glasses like me.
Go to the hospital.
And learn how to tell time. Seriously.
Run to the hospital
Run.
because you cannot see. You cannot see.
You know what I love? We've been here for a while, and
We're
we've been
listening.
saying at this point that we have all been operating on one collective brain cell.
One shared.
And we're doing it, baby.
There you
So
go.
let's go ahead. Thank you so much for the brain cell. I'll now continue to move forward in the show. Let's take a look, though, at the bracket and see what we have in store for us tomorrow, because don't forget that tomorrow we are going to have the Shopify Rebellion Team Liquid Clash as our first match of the day. Then it's going to be Crew Esports taking on X10 Sapphire, another awesome international clash. And then it's going to be Guild X versus Fennel Talava. I cannot wait for that game, Kukuka. Which one you're excited for?
I am very excited for the Shopify Rebellion versus Team Liquid because obviously that's the one that we should have seen today. But I think that honestly, besides the regulations here in Berlin, it's already pretty late. Like it's 10 p.m. So I think that both of the teams would have been very tired by then. I hope that tomorrow we have a day that goes more swiftly. And I'm really excited to see how that will close us out because obviously you said that you wanted an A and I wanted a Zil. So, you know, I need some resolution here.
Ooh.
You know what's funny is I'm actually looking forward to Guild X play against Fennel because I think that game
I'm
is
not
gonna
ready
be
for that. I'm
insane.
not saying goodbye to any of those
Yeah.
things because tomorrow we're saying goodbye.
I
Literally.
know.
Already, day 3.
Yeah, and I'm actually, even though I said I was looking for the last game, but I'm going to give some love though to was it Crew and X10, right? Like that is going to be a very interesting matchup. Two regions that are vastly different in their styles. That is going to be really, really awesome to watch. Well, team, I want to thank you so much for the work today. Of course,
been
fist bumps
lovely.
across the board. That's a thing. But guys, that is going to do it for us today. And what a day it has been. We saw some high highs and low lows, but that means that we are only going to have better games moving forward. That's right. Let's go ahead and send them home the right way, baby. We'll catch you tomorrow for 3 more games. We'll see you then. Oh, man, the hype is real. Can't wait to dive into this one. We have 4 teams, 20 fierce competitors. They are all ready to go. So all that's left is just get this party started. Let's light her up.
Wait, Trey, Lori. Oh, my. What a shot from Lori. Oh, my God. What is that?
Holy! Let's go, baby.
Hold on. Oh, it's not a one. Oh, my. Working them down, but the time is of the answer. See, with a melting shot. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Destroys 2 of them. The last 2 alive, and Sunder is in. Sunder takes them over the line. Shopify Rebellion walking away with map 1. Time starting to dwindle, though they're going to start running out of it. Lori's position gets checked. Great work from Roxy. And now they're scrambling. They're trying to do what they can to defuse. Trade comes out from this, but Lori, right position, right time. Lori ain't stopping until then. Oh, Lori with 1, and Lori doesn't know how to lose. Time, Benny could be the downfall. He goes 1. What is that for Nita? We are going the distance. All 3 needed. Sonder's there. The trade's Lori. Come on. It's a huge angle. It's so good from Sonder. You don't get that sort of play every day of the week. The base. Nest could not. Oh, my God. Positioning. And there it goes. Shopify Rebellion against the odds. Doing damage here in the 3rd.
We will welcome 2 brand new representatives from Brazil.